myself. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I don't like that. Who's muted? I hear it. Have you guys tried unmuting yourselves? Oh, you're muted. You're specifically muted. I hear you. I hear it. Have you guys tried muting? Hmm. All right, so I'll narrate for everybody. Ba 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 da ba ba da ba da. What? Is it your input for whatever you're using to be live? I'm hearing you in this. I appreciate your censorship. Big Daddy's working on it, guys. Just to be the voice of the voiceless right at the moment. Oh, you guys can't hear. You missed nothing so far. I hear you myself. I'm going to stop saying that. I'm going to let them say something. Maybe, I don't know. That wouldn't make. Check your audio input in here, but I can hear you. It doesn't make sense. Your mic input is correct, I'm assuming. Okay.
Ba 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 ba. How's this? How's this? Can anybody? I hate that it's not live. Like not not live.
I still can't hear you at all. I didn't even see the. Hey.
Okay.
Okay,
that's weird.
You're there.
That's really weird. I don't know why that.
I hear you.
Okay, fine, whatever. Fuck it. Who cares?
You're there.
Jesus Christ. I don't know why that was happening. OBS was showing that I was outputting audio, but for whatever reason, it was not.
That's
not doing anything.
True story. It was nice because it shows you the internet is a wild beast, and it can.
Oh, you know what? I figured it out. I figured it out. Wait, let me just do something real quick.
Okay.
Go. All right. Is it in like 30 seconds? Tell me if this works, because I'm pretty sure I fucked up when I was trying to get the headphones to work on the Rodecaster. Oh my God, this is all. I can't cut this. This is just gonna be a gag the whole time.
It is, and I'm happy to be here for it. I'm not gonna lie. It was nice.
Yeah. All right, so sound isn't synced now. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay. All right, I'm gonna use this input. Fuck it. Okay. Whatever. All right, so here we go. We're with Andrew who's probably best known as, working for Severin Films. Does a bunch of other shit too.
Yeah.
We'll get into, but he works for Severin, and that's my mouth and audio aren't synced. How the fuck? Oh, you know what? It's probably because we're using StreamYard.
Do you want to end this and go back and start again in a place you're more comfortable?
No. Oh. No. I don't want to. I just hate life. I hate life so much. All right. So, okay. Wait. All right. Okay. All right. So, I'm just gonna have Kung Fu audio. That's what's gonna be. I'm gonna have Kung Fu audio. I apologize. Now Andrew's gone. Everything's fucked. This whole thing is garbage. Here we are. There we go.
It's live. That's half the fun of being live. Is all of the hijinks.
That is half the fun of being live. So.
Hello.
Yeah. Andrew. You're talking to Big Daddy Kung Fu Keene, and I gotta ask. This is like a really kind of a big question. It's one that is hard hitting. It's one that is might even be controversial. I wouldn't be surprised if you just left right now because of this line of questioning. Does David Gregory know who I am?
No comment.
Son of a bitch! Fuck.
You're gonna leave out of frustration. I mean, we've definitely. I actually, true story. Little known fact. We had a V1 of because when I started wanting to do the podcast, David had no interest in doing it, and so it was just me and Zach doing the first episode, and it was around. It was around the time Al Adamson came out, and you did an incredible breakdown of our set and everything in there. And I gave you a shout out in the thing because I was doing my dishes, and I ended up doing dishes for 45 minutes because I was just really happy to see somebody happy about what we've been working on for like years. And so I was doing a segment at the end, and then it got canned because no offense to just Zach and myself, but David really brings the expertise to it and the grandiose and he saw we did so poorly that he actually was like, I got to do this too. And now he loves it, so it's fine. But people are aware of you over at Severin HQ, if that is a question that you have.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay. So tell me, so I looked at your website actually, because I was looking for a picture of you for the thumbnail. I was like, oh, look at his little website. And, you have a lot of stuff on there. You edited the Nightbreed cut? The director's cut?
That was my first foray into physical media as like a career. Yeah, so my friend was the vice president of Clive's company at the time, and I was an editor, I work a lot, and basically he was like, hey, you're fast, you're efficient, do you want to do this? And I was like, absolutely, because they just unearthed I think it was 40 something hours of raw scans, and they scanned it all, and it was up to, and we had like 2 tapes of dailies as audio, and that was it. So we had to like find everything. So I went through 46 hours of footage in 2 weeks, and then I edited the film together with Clive and Mark in about 3 weeks and created 45 minutes of brand new content. And the only reason I could do that is because my student loan payments didn't kick in for another 3 months. So I was able to take that time and work on something cool. And getting that IMDb credit on there was impossible. IMDb, because I was 1 when that movie came out, and that was their argument for me trying to get an edited by credit on that. They were like, you were 1, and I was like, no, I was a young man, but still, I'm here, I did it. And they were like, okay, you get a additional editing credit. And I was like, better than nothing, man. But
yeah, get your name attached. That's fucking rad. Jesus Christ, I love Nightbreed. I'm a big Nightbreed fan. Oddly enough, don't own it somehow. I didn't grab that one limited edition when it came out, and I've been holding that against myself the entire time. Big Clive Barker, big Nightbreed fan.
A lot of people who love the original version did not like the director's cut because it was less chaos and monsters, and then a lot of people who hated the original cut love the director's cut. So I'm cool either way because it made people feel. I'm just glad no one went and just like moved on.
I get that.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, I'm actually debating because it's almost been 10 years since that happened. So I'm very curious to go back and revisit it and see kind of if it's something that's any good still. But I'm waiting like 2 more years until the 10 years. And then I'll revisit it. Until then, I will never go back to Midian.
I appreciate the just wanting people to react to things. I was having a conversation with one of my little stable of actors about our next movie, and I made a comment to him about how I wanted him to have cum dripping out of his mouth for a scene.
Masturbating Gunman now on Blu-ray.
Masturbating Gunman now on Blu-ray, and he is so like used to my bullshit now. He was like, really, if we're gonna do it right, I need like a whole bucket of cum just like thrown on my head, and then I was like, all right, well, we'll see how much fake cum we can come up with.
Hey,
we'll work on that. But
I worked on a movie called Chillerama, which was like maybe 11 years ago. I was a PA on that, and I got to focus on the consistency of said fluids for a big scene with Adam Rifkin, and that was something that I'm glad it never went to air, but at the same time, I kind of wish there was footage of it. I was much skinnier back then. It would have looked cool, man. That's all I'm saying.
I think Chillerama could have used more jizz.
It could have used more of a lot of things, but that's beyond the point.
So I did have a question from chat before we even got started. Which, oh fuck, I gotta go all the way. There's so much chat happening. So this is something, I don't know if you even have like an answer for this. This is something that I've seen come up before. I remember when I talked about the Friday the 13th movies, I was very adamant about the 185:1 aspect ratio. And because people were like, the black bars, why isn't it just open? Why are the black bars? My DVD and my other Blu-ray or whatever is open. Why does it got the black bars?
Yeah.
And my thought process was, well, that was the intention because they shot it for a theatrical release with the intention of having it a 185:1. Most movies are not shot. I mean, like James Cameron, I guess, shoots for an open matte presentation down the line, but most directors, I don't think, shoot for an open matte presentation. They shoot open matte and then it gets cropped.
Yeah.
And Cat Drums, one of my greatest, most prolific chatterers. Please ask why more films that are matted for their theatrical release aren't given the open matte full original camera aspect ratio as an option to view for release. I personally kept all DVDs like that. I don't know that you have any answer to that, but do you have any?
Kind of. So I actually do understand where he's coming from. A lot of DVDs in the early days of DVD especially were cropped for 4:3 because 4:3 TVs were all that people had. There was no 16:9. I remember late days of VHS Titanic was like one of the first widescreen movies to get that widescreen treatment. And then if you play that now, it looks like shit because it's tiny and whatever. But one of my favorite movies, Happiness, poster right behind me, the only DVD available is a widescreen format DVD, but it's only made for 4:3 TV, so it has giant pillar boxes and then letterboxing. So the image is this big in the middle of the TV, and you have to like zoom in to even get any semblance of an image. So a lot of people didn't like that. And so they did the 4:3 thing and did pan and scan a lot of the times, or didn't even, like some films didn't even try to pan and scan. They would just, boom, this is what you get and suck it. The opposite of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer situation. And so I think personally, we don't do that because it's not the director's original intention. There are films like Perdita Durango, which is 235, and the DVD of that or the VHS of that is so aggressively pan and scanned that it hurts. Like it hurts my heart to take these beautifully framed images and just have it slowly push across from side to side like that. And it's just, it hurts to see that kind of a cut. It takes away from the director's intention and the fact that we have now an ability to preserve the director's original intent. I think that's mainly what a lot of companies do, and that's why they focus on that. But at the same time, Scream in the Streets has 2 aspect ratios only because it doesn't look good in either, but that's kind of the charm. It was not made specifically for any specific aspect ratio. I can't imagine, because at one point there's a boom in the shot and then there's like squibs or like a dude's arm in the side, and it makes no sense, but that's fine because it's a non-porno porno with a lot of porn, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. You're not there for the effects. But there is a film in our September release where we actually went back to the director specifically because we were unsure of what the aspect ratio was intended, because it looked too tight in 185 and 178, and so we actually found out the film is in a completely different aspect ratio. I won't say what, because there are some very eagle-eyed people who like can just guess immediately, even with like such a light hint. Like when we were talking on the podcast about La Casa 5, people were like Laura Gemser, and they took our very slight context clues and were able to pinpoint what it was, and that's. So I'm going to keep kind of open on that. But yeah, long story short, we don't do it because it's not necessarily the director's intention, unless it's like for fun, and then we'll do it. There's another release down the line where we're including a 4:3 version of certain scenes because there's something to that's kind of infamous. So we're including that in the disc, but not in the theatrical presentation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm vindicated. Yeah. If it's the director's intention, there you go. You can have an open mat, but if it's not the director's intention, there's no point, because usually the open mat, you got like all kinds of bullshit that they don't want you to see.
I remember how mad
get that little
got when they did that to Buffy. They like,
oh my God, I got mad.
My wife got mad.
I'm a huge Buffy fan, and my wife and I were going through the series, and for a hot minute we were using, I guess, Hulu or something, and they have the widescreen version, and you just see like crew hanging out. There's a C-stand over there.
Yeah.
A character like goes to walk off and just kind of stops. It's all awful.
Yeah.
Hey, when's the next Severin Cellar video, you piece of shit?
It went up today. Ding dong.
Oh, it went up today? Okay.
Director
today,
Mark Savage of the director of Masturbating Gunman just did an episode of while he was going in to sign slips for wraps for the release. We had him do a quick Severin Cellar, and then I believe it just went up not too long ago. So, got you, journalism, got you.
Yeah, I'll be back. I love your username, but you can't give me these questions when there's something. It makes me look like a fucking asshole. I mean, I guess I'm a jerk ass in a bear suit with awful lighting, so whatever. But anyway, yeah, separate people are like just talking about happiness, which I would love. You know what? If Severin put out a 4K UHD of happiness, I don't even know how that would work rights wise, but I would literally like put a moratorium on any shit talking Severin for a lifetime.
Then you would
it would be
subs,
a lifetime moratorium. That's okay.
No, I think that's a dream title of mine for sure. It's one of my favorite movies. It was one of the first films I saw where I was like, oh, comedy can be fucked up and that's totally okay. And it made me question like why I'm laughing at certain things and stuff like that. So that's a genuine like title for me that I would love to do. And I would never want to say never, because the world is strange and we live in a place where rights holders change, and it's only a matter of time. I'd love to see that get any kind of a release, and to be part of it would be a dream come true.
So I'm gonna I guess there's two things that we really have to talk about. I kind of honestly would rather, and chat can tell me if this is a good idea or not, but I'd really like to just talk about your various like projects and career and stuff, because I love other like indie filmmakers and junk. But this is a channel noted primarily for Blu-ray nonsense. So we got to talk about two things. Yeah. One is the new releases, which I'm sure you've talked about ad nauseum. And then I'd also like to go on the website in here in this fucking StreamYard bullshit and kind of talk about recommend. I want you to sell me on stuff.
Absolutely. And then if you want after that, we can talk about my own personal thing, because like
okay,
privately
we have
with our shirt,
we have 2 hours total
with our bear
so
suits on.
All right. So I guess let's let me do a screen share. I've never done this before. This is gonna suck ass. Let's see here. Let's see. We're gonna share screen. All right. I'm gonna go. Dick butts. Oh, I can go to Chrome tab. Okay.
Hey-o.
All right. Okay. I see how this works. All right. So I'm gonna open up my thing. I'm gonna go to Severin.com, and okay, I can share that tab. All right. Okay. Oh my God. There we go. Let's see. Can we make this? I guess this is the best we can hope for.
This works. You know, I'm
let's see
sure
if
there's
I can.
other ways.
Let's do.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
I know this.
I got some general understanding of how to do stuff. Not a lot, but wait, can I? No, that's all right. This will have to work. And pop it. There we go. I have a vertical monitor because I'm a bitch.
Because you're another.
So, yeah. Because it's the only way I can work. So by the way, I cannot see chat right now. I apologize, chat. I suck. By the way, Al, you better not be fucking me again, Al. Okay? I love your username, but you better not be fucking me. Does Andrew know who is releasing Cemetery Man in the U.S.? I don't think he could say it if he did.
I got no idea, and that's the answer I'm going to give regardless of the truth. I got no idea.
Yeah, I would like to know that. All right, so this is, of course, the big Nuclear Meltdown bundle that I spent $250 fucking on.
Thank you.
You
now own Evil Dead 5.
I know, own Evil Dead 5. I don't know why, because I knew it was La Casa 5. I knew it was La Casa 5. And for some fucking stupid reason, I was like, I'll be fine. I'm just a glutton for punishment. You know what it is? I was like, I want this guy. 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 Ah, fuck. There's that too.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Well, the thing is, La Casa 5, it's not my kind of movie, but I know there is an audience for it, and to get a standalone release here in the United States, people who don't have like a Region B player, there is a drive there, and the fact that we could go back and get Fragazzo and Brandon, what's his name, David Brandon, and get a couple bonus features in there too with people who are comfortable with us and they're willing to kind of be real, and that's a super exciting thing. So for the people who like that movie, and for people who love our out of print, like our hard to find slips and our rare, discounted covers and things like that, like I think for those people that's who this is for. And the fact that you can kind of get it for free in the Nuclear Meltdown bundle with a bunch of other stuff, it makes it kind of worth it, I would hope. This is by and large, I think, the strongest sale catalog that we've ever done since I've been with Severin. It's so crazy and full of insanity, violence, gore, blood, other fluids, and other fluids. I'm looking at the Franco films as I say other, because there is no definition for what he does with celluloid. Anytime y'all put out a Franco, I have to buy it. I know, that's like a mandatory and as much as I don't love Franco, I love Stephen Thrower talking about Franco, and
he is a fucking, oh my God, I could rub one out to his voice. It's amazing.
Trust me, I've been on a podcast with him, and he's incredible. He is genuinely the only reason I love these discs, because the In the Land of Franco series that Zach cuts, these are the final two in the series. There's extra stuff with Thrower talking ad nauseum about, just in great detail, making me feel like I was wrong because I didn't like it. But again, like La Casa 5, I keep calling it La Casa 5, like Beyond Darkness, there is an audience for that. And the fact that these people get those kind of releases makes sense. And you especially, you big sicko, you're going to love House of Lost Women. If you've never seen it, you're going to be obsessed. If you love Shining Sex, which it seemed like you did, I think that one's going to be right up your alley with how far it pushes. I want your child to walk in at certain parts. Like, there's a lot of things. It'll be really fun, I think, as a viewing experience. Black Boots Leather Whip was a little more like Cries of Open Pleasure. Night of Open Sex and Cries of Pleasure, two different movies. But I would say Cries of Pleasure in the like the taboo realm mystery feel to it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and okay. I feel like those. I mean, they're cater made for you, Big Daddy Keene.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, I've actually I don't even try to find like inferior copies of Franco movies. I just wait for them to come out on Blu-ray at this point. I don't like. I figure
we're not.
Like I'll buy like the German releases and stuff. Those Blu-rays, but like I'm not gonna go out of my way to find a Franco because I know if it's got a good print, it'll probably come out through Severin at some point.
Yeah, we have a good relationship with a few different companies that produced his stuff and store his stuff in pretty great condition. So we're very fortunate on that. And don't worry, much to my chagrin, they do not stop. I have a hard drive full of more to come. Pun intended. Wow. All right, masturbating coming now on Blu-ray.
I am curious as far as, and I don't really want to talk about La Casa 5 that much because I don't really care about that movie. But was there like, this had to be like a deal, like a special deal for you guys, right? Like because Shout Factory is still selling it.
I'm not 100% sure. I thought that disc was out of print, but it never had a standalone disc over here, and I'm not sure if there was a deal situation. I know David loves Fragasso, and as everyone does at Severin, and the fact that we could put more Fragasso out there in standalone discs, I think could be as to why. I'm not 100% sure. I just know that it's a title that we've had for a little bit, and we've been trying to find the right way to get it out there. And I think once oil struck in our minds of doing, hey, let's do another Forbidden cover, let's make it something special, for anyone who does like it, for anyone who doesn't like it and wants to give it a shot, and this is the kind of perfect way to do it. So I feel like that kind of led into it. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure as to when it came into David's mind to put it out or buy it.
I assume it has something to do with the fact that y'all sell these unpromotable or unprofitable, as the typo said, slipcovers. I'm assuming that has something to do with it. The fact that they sell like fucking hotcakes.
Yeah, I think
that's still there, by the way.
Where we decided like, oh, this is the time. Let's do it. Did it say unprofitable?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yep, unprofitable.
Well, if we get sued, it will be very unprofitable.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Have y'all had like any serious? I'm sure you probably can't actually say anything, but I have to ask. Have y'all had any serious legal ramifications for any of these fucking slipcovers?
Very fortunately, no, because by the time any cease and desist comes, it's all gone. And I will say, like, people keep thinking, The Last Shark is coming. That's the only title that we've ever had an issue with as far as, like, stop. Like, the company hears The Last Shark and they go, no, okay, Severin, get in your lane. Get out of here. Don't you touch our jaws. Like, so everyone thinks, like, we're trying to ruse people, but it's like we can't because of so many reasons. And a big one is a universal reason. Yeah, like, so that one, and then a big one that happened was if you look at the art that just came out, it was an interesting crop job where we had 4 bugs, and everyone's like 4/5s on Gray Velvet confirmed, and that is not something that we have in our sites. I wanted to put that out. Just if you look at the art now, you see a lot of bugs around him because he was the one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. He was death, so like there's a lot of bugs there, as it's been said.
I feel that I definitely was one of the people that was like, oh, maybe 4 flies.
And I'm on the forums and I saw a couple of people go, maybe them saying it's not could be a way of tricking us because it actually doubly is. You know what? Super confirmed. I confirm it here, and I'm like, oh no. They're rusing us.
Regarding, I keep seeing 2 things in chat, so I'm not really sure much can be said about these, but actually one can. I know you guys upgraded your slips or changed the slips. When did that start?
I'm not 100% sure when the change is being made, but we started working with a new company around Santa Sangre time, and that same distributor who made those wraps, those cases, did Blood for Dracula, and we are kind of trying to upgrade our standard slip situation.
So should I expect some tightness right here?
I can't for sure say because I'm not I more work with the feature elements themselves.
Yeah.
But I know I made it very strong my mission to work with our new kind of head of production. That like, hey, welcome to the club. Here's my biggest problem. Like, here's the thing, and so they're like, cool. I'm still trying to learn the job. What's up with slips? I'm like, you don't understand. This is very important. As a collector, I get it. And no, I do. And there have been some prototypes being sent to the office, and I'm very weird with my magnifying glass going in. Like, okay, I think this cuts the mustard. I think we're getting there. I think we're close. And so we are working to make these more of that situation, but you'll notice that the slips in this are really kind of minimal. But I would imagine, without any guarantee, I can't say obviously, but I would hope that the changes were implemented for these.
Okay. So maybe worry, maybe don't, guys. I don't
worry.
know.
Just enjoy the film.
When you try, like when your back goes out trying to pull the fucking Blu-ray out of the goddamn slipcover.
I still get mad because my Blue Underground of Maniac, that 3-disc collection, it was a tight boy, and I put it back in, and it like creases, and I sit there and I go, you motherfucker, you son of, my Blu-rays are over here, and I swear at them every once in a while. But like, yeah, so I understand the frustration. Very much so, and I know that we've tried to make it right for the people who it's genuinely like ruined. Like there was a guy who put out a video where he had to like not crowbar, but he had to work his slip. He had to work the slip off, and it damaged the slip, and we sent him a replacement slip, I believe. But like it is something that we are aware of and we are working on to correct. Very much so.
That's good. It's good to know that you guys listen and know. I for my unboxing of the basket, there's one where I like had a lot of trouble, and it was not, I think it was Day of the Animals. I had a lot of trouble, and it was not me playing up for camera. I legitimately like could not, like at first I was like, okay, I'll maybe like play it up a little bit, and I was like, motherfuck. And actually my Cruel Jaws, I had to get a new Cruel Jaws sent to me, because it was like, it looked like the Blu-ray had hulked out and torn the slipcover. It was so weird. But Severin, being the quality company that they are, did send me a new slip. Toot sweet.
Yeah.
And then
jerks, it's not your fault. But yeah.
And then you can just blink twice. We're totally getting Black Emmanuel for Black Friday, right? You can just blink.
That okay.
Blink twice.
Look, I can't give dates, but I can say the reason it keeps getting pushed is because it is ever expanding. There is a lot to much like Emmanuel's legs. There is a lot to see and a lot to discover. Once they are spread. And yeah, we've kind of opened up the floodgates, and the reason it's taking so long is because we're trying to follow suit with our other box sets of being comprehensive and being not only worth the upgrade, but worth the blind buy for anyone who has never seen an Emmanuel film. But I believe there's been some information that has posted online that like you can expect to see a complete set of a certain filmmaker's stuff in there. I believe that was put out. And we're not stopping. We're continuing to discover more that should be in the box and deserves to be kind of seen. So it's being pushed to a date that we're not fully sure yet, only because more is coming, and it's for good reasons, I promise. Like we could put something out and you'd be like, great, and then you could see more, and it's like, ooh, like, come on, don't do this to my wallet. I want the complete. I want that sweet baby boy to be as perfect as possible. And if it was Casey Jones asking that question, he kindly messaged me every once in a while, just like, hey man, where's it going? I'm like, don't. It's still coming, I promise. Yeah.
So y'all looking to dethrone the Al Adamson set as like the
it's already boy? Dethroned the Al Adamson set.
Nice. So
there's so much.
You just
Laura
I got dry mouth from that.
Man. Also worked on Beyond Darkness as the costume designer. Now available on bluerooms.com.
We got a bit of.
Oh boy. Masterclass TV and
You're breaking up something fierce right now.
Oh, that's I'm still breaking up.
Yeah, you're all frozen. It's like that fucking webcam movie.
Oh no!
I'm really scared for you right now.
I see you.
Oh my God! Oh Jesus! Is there someone behind you? Holy shit!
Did that help?
Nothing.
Am I better? No. Oh no.
Nope. Okay, I can see you moving now. You're just you're super pixelated at this point.
Can you see this?
No, you're just kind of frozen now.
Is this because I promoted another YouTuber stream on your stream?
I think so. I think you fucked up. I think that's what happened. Here. Oh, it's loading. Now it's... Oh, there we go. Okay.
All right.
That's better.
Can you hear me at least?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
You were cutting out audio-wise, so I could not tell what the fuck you were saying.
I was basically saying there's a guy here, Master Chaos is in the live chat. He did a great interview with David Gregory on Friday on his YouTube channel. I think it's if anyone likes hearing people talk, in a relaxed format, check him out. He's a nice guy. He's in London. David. Master Chaos is in California.
Yeah. I'm actually going on Master Chaos's stream after this, so go to
he's a busy
at 5:00, I believe.
My goodness.
So everybody go over there after this. Don't go now. Now there's nothing. Just his fucking uploads. Don't worry about that. Just stay here with me and Andrew, and we'll get you all settled out. There's a lot of now error jokes.
Yeah. No, okay. I get it.
Do you have anything to say about the web troubles? Because that is kind of a thing that has become a bit of an issue.
A bit, yeah. But after last year, that was something that we really wanted to focus on because, man, that so a lot of people don't know this because it was, not really talked about because it's not, people don't care necessarily how the bread is made. They just want to eat the sandwich. And I respect that. But when that website crashed and we decided to switch over to emails, that was a big, wow, why did we do that? That was so much extra work. But it was 4 employees who decided to, that was actually the weekend I decided, okay, I want to go full time with Severin. And they offered me the position because I called in sick for my day job. And I was like, let's answer emails. Let's get in all these email orders as fast as possible. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of emails and people coming in and wanting everything and being very understanding in the chat or being very understanding in an email and being very mad in public. And there were some emails that were not very kind. And there were some emails that were, and it didn't matter. We kind of just went through like, thank you for your note, and like continued adding everything. And it took a long time. And we realized we should never do that again. So we changed our internet server. We worked with another company who was a bigger box company and worked with that. And it worked really well on the Black Friday sale. And then the meme came out that everyone was like, oh, it's because nobody wanted the titles. But then again, that was genuinely one of our better selling sales where everyone came back in back catalog and they really wanted to try it. And there were people who bought the films and, they ended up liking the movies more than they thought they would. And, there was obviously the joke and all that stuff. But that kind of lived. And I was not the only one in the company who was very very stressed out. I went on vacation this last week because I just needed to break away from everything, just so I could like kind of free my head. And it was to the point where it was all completely out of my, there's nothing I can do about it at this point. But we pulled stress tests and we really pushed the envelope of where the website could go. And y'all's demand was crazy. And the fact that it went down sucked, but it was a different error message page. And at least it was down for only a couple of minutes. I think it was down for like 30-45 minutes at most. That's because we not only were we doing stress tests, we were also had like a live customer support ready. We checked, we knew their names, we had them on speed dial, and we worked with them to make sure like, hey, fix this as fast as possible. And there were times where it came up and there were times when it went back down, and like it's hard because like you can stress test as much as you want, but that F5 key is a strong one. And if everyone's hitting F5 at the same time, and I appreciate the excitement, I appreciate the enthusiasm for getting the things. We kind of didn't necessarily plan for everyone to be as excited about the book as possible. And that created kind of the buy it now demand that, I think was the extra oomph that took us past any stress test and put us into reality. But I'm very happy to say that the website did not crash. I have gotten some sleep, which is nice. So that was a big change from last year. But we're working on it, and there's only so much we can necessarily do with the small crew and where we choose to focus our things. So we fixed it as much as we could, but we are going to be working more to get something newer and keep it from not being a Severin sale tradition. I think that's the best way to word it. I want people to enjoy the films than the story. There was that video that you posted that I could feel your pain. At one point in time, you took your shirt off and started refreshing the page, and I'm just like, oh, this poor Big Daddy Keene is just going for it.
And I specifically did not do the F5 gag again this time because I felt for you guys. I appreciate the honesty about it, and I appreciate that you guys are doing what you can. Not gonna lie, it does bug me that you use the system that you use, considering how big you are.
I mean, the website that we used was a big box realtor. He sells tons of houses on his website. Retailer. And it's just I think we the sales are it's very strange kind of how the popularity goes and when it all comes in. And I think we tried it and it worked last 6 months ago. And we were very happy with that. And so when we started preparing for this, we felt pretty confident that things were going to go well. We wanted to try it. And so we stress test the same amount of users as the last 2 sales, an average of that, to try to make sure our website was able to handle that kind of traffic. But when you have kind of as big a lineup as we did for this round, it kind of, I think the demand was more than we expected right off the bat, especially when we were encouraging people to kind of come back later and like, sleep. We'll have enough for everyone to come in tomorrow and get them at your leisure. Don't stay up to midnight and, stress buy and kind of we're hoping people were going to do the trickle in. But things change. People are different, and y'all want them movies, and I respect that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have very limited bundles. 3 and 200, not a lot, especially the 200, because I feel like I assume most people would want the Marauders. I mean, it's sold out, so that would make sense.
The situation with that was mainly because we have a lot of foreign people who foreign customers and people who are region free. So the book, because of our deal with Pulse, we only could sell it in the US while they have worldwide sales of the book. Even though we anglicized it and stuff like that, that was kind of our deal. We worked together to create that version of the book, and we didn't want to shut out people and make them feel like they had to buy a bundle in order to get the book, but we wanted to kind of keep it even. We learned a lot last year with Frankie and his pals. People got very mad at how limited that was, like, outside of the bundle. So we created more. Afterwards, we called and had another pressing made of that DVD and made a standard edition of that. And then people got mad because we wanted to make films more available to everybody, and we were trying to avoid that situation here by not making it a limited edition book to where they wouldn't want to go buy it from Pulse directly, or if they were in the EU or Australia or anything like that. And yeah, so that mainly, I think, we were trying to be more fair, and the book was a lot more popular than we were expecting. And everyone thought, like, it was a tactic. No, but we genuinely reached out because David is in the same time zone. It was like, hey, the book is selling more. Do you mind if we buy more and you ship us some more books? And so we worked another deal to get some more books. And
gotcha.
it's everyone thinks we're a lot more clever than we actually are. Everyone thinks we're sitting here like all dressed in suits, like going, haha, this is how we get them, haha. But it's really like, we're not trying to create a crazy demand. We're trying to give as much to everyone without, ending up having 50,000 copies of this book and selling 20, like we were trying to I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, so I'm going to stop. But without the risk of sounding repetitive, I feel like that we were trying to be accommodating, but by creating more, people got mad, like, oh, now it's all of a sudden unlimited. That's crazy. No, I don't understand. There's something I don't understand. People get mad when standard editions get made of things that were limited because more people want to watch the films and stuff like that. But I feel like the only people who get mad about that are scalpers. So I don't know how to feel about them.
Yeah, well, scalpers and like weirdos on Blu-ray.com forums.
Are you on Blu-ray.com?
I have an account.
Are you a forum
and
daddy?
I've posted like 3 times. I posted because someone was shit talking me. And he was shit talking me and Aaron Penn, and I was like, hey,
don't.
The fuck.
Hey, stop.
He was mad because I ate on stream, which I don't know.
That's weird. Yeah, no,
Suck
the
a butt.
Forums are mainly negative, but I'm not necessarily there for fanboy. I'm actually on there because I want to sift through everything and see what general gut reactions are when people get our product, and see if it's something that we can fix or if it's something that they're not necessarily happy about. And it's kind of like I'm in a minority thing. Like, I know the slip situation is kind of a meme, but I know it kind of definitely gains steam over there. Like, if one person says it's fucked up and other people are like, yeah, that is kind of fucked up. Like, I want to listen.
There was
to
the crowd mentality.
Yeah, I want to be able to be a voice for everyone who is a collector, because I'm very much so a physical media fiend. I love I'm not every limited edition. I love films regardless of the edition, and if a movie is awesome, I'll just make a slip myself if it doesn't have one, or make a nice case. Like this John Carpenter set back here, I made that just because I love John Carpenter movies, and there's never been like a cool box set, and I was like, fuck it, I want to make one myself. And like, so I'm a different person, and I'm not thinking necessarily about legalities as far as like, is that art? Is it something that I could use? Is that something I could clear? It's like, no, I think it's cool, I'm going to use it. I'm not selling it for anybody else. But there are people who really want the essential edition, and we want to offer that, and we want to offer the standard editions for people, but that's, everyone's, I think, doing the same thing on that aspect.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you'll ever withhold extras, except for like CDs.
No.
Yeah.
The only times we have done, standard editions don't necessarily have soundtracks most of the time, because that's the limited edition perk.
Yeah.
But our orders for limited editions are usually pretty large for that exact reason. We want people to feel like they have that opportunity. I believe like RoboWar and the RoboWar Standard Edition are both available now, and you could buy either or, with or without soundtrack, for those who just want the movies and the extras and not care about the CD. But yeah.
There's been some where I not you guys, but like the one that springs to mind is Code Red's Conquest Blu-ray. There's the old edition, the limited, that sells for hella prices. I think has a commentary, and then the newer version does not have a commentary, which just want to slap a bitch.
You're going to see that with Retribution because we have a commentary for the limited edition exclusive, which is the extended cut of the film. That's the only because we wanted to have Guy experience the uncut version the way it was originally released for the first time, and it's genuinely fun to hear him kind of go, "Oh shit, oh you got everything." So, this is, oh well, David, your team is injured. Oh wow, okay, you did it, and like getting that kind of it's pretty fun listening to him whenever those R-rated the uncut scenes come up. But we were going to cut that down to a commentary for the theatrical, but then you lose kind of that luster of that, and you lose chunks, and it just doesn't feel as genuine and strong. So there are times like that, but most of the time, David mainly comes from a world of bonus features. Like, he's been creating bonus features since he was right out of college, and that is where his heart and passion is. That's why our documentaries are always so in depth. That's why we hire specialists as opposed to people who are the most popular. That's why we're really going in there and trying to give people context to go with the content. I hate that word content, but I worked in YouTube for far too long not to have it stuck in my brain.
I work for one of the biggest content creators on YouTube, so I feel that.
It's an unfortunate word, but context is key, and that's something that I genuinely respect Severin for doing. Vinegar Syndrome has been doing an amazing job lately. I mean, if you look at Champagne and Bullets, there is a feature-length documentary about John DeHart, and that's what I want. That man is a legend. And if you look at our doc on Beyond the Seventh Door, the Intervision title, there is a 40-minute interview with the director, who is a fascinating person. He is amazing. He takes you to his job at a movie theater and goes, "This is what I do for a living, and then this is what I make afterwards." And it's like those kind of things are what make these movies even more special, in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%.
And so that's why I love that our company does that. But yeah, we do not try to limit that kind of stuff to limited editions. Like, we want people to enjoy all of it as much as possible, but not, it depends. Like, some people just want the movies, some people don't care about the soundtracks, but we want to accommodate everybody as much as possible.
Well, we all appreciate that.
Sure. God, this is gotcha journalism all over it. This is ridiculous.
What would you show us your dick? Is that what Howard Stern does?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh god, what was? This is a good question, and this is one I don't think goodness. Well, you might have the answer. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know anything. I'm just a guy on the internet. Do you think y'all would ever consider doing the number of limited copies left, or number of slips left, or whatever that like Vinegar Syndrome does?
That's something that has been talked about. I don't know necessarily if there is a reason as to why. As I said, I'm not necessarily fully into the website. I'm like trying to inch my way in to try and take certain parts of websites that I love and work. But I think that has been talked about, and there are ways of doing it on our website that aren't just like going, "Hey, this is how many are left," jump now situation. But I'm not 100% sure, so I can't necessarily answer that.
Okay. All right. Let's go back into the website. How about that?
Sure.
We kind of got off into some tangents there, some good tangents. So. Let's say I'm not the kind of fuckhead that just spends an aggressive amount of money on things that he shouldn't buy, and I want to pick up some of these releases, but I don't want to pick up all of them. But I love everything involved. What's something that you would pick up right now and not wait for another sale? Because obviously there's going to be those people that are okay waiting for sales. And actually, let's skip. That's no Blood for Dracula.
Okay,
everybody should pick up fucking Blood for Dracula.
Everyone should get that. Out of all of these, well, it's very hard because there are some great films. It depends on what you're into. If you're into, let's focus on the post-nuke situation because that's kind of the theme of the sale. And it worked. I feel like we definitely people were very excited about these films being hinted at and teased for a long time, and watching that excitement grow. There are 3 incredible films by 3 very incredible directors making something very unlike what they normally do. Out of the 3, I would say Blind Buy, Trust Me on This, Raiders of Atlantis is absolutely fucking incredible. I love
Aaron just shit himself in frustration.
Who?
Aaron Penn hates that movie.
Oh, really? Oh my God. That movie.
That's okay. He's a spoil sport sometime. It's okay.
It blew
we love
me
Aaron.
away. Well, it was one of those things where it's a movie where the poster, if you look at that poster, number one, that's an incredible poster. And what's his name? Christopher George. That's Grizzly. Oh man, sorry, my dyslexia is the worst, and my brain works as a dyslexic. Raiders of Atlantis. What's his name? Christopher Connolly.
Connolly.
Thank you. Oh, you're looking at it on there. Christopher Connolly and Tony King have a great chemistry, and they're kind of like bounty hunters. And in the your beloved Vinegar Syndrome had a great part in the commentary for that one. But the movie's absolutely wild and gory and gross and fucking strange. It's basically they find a hidden key to the lost city of Atlantis, and all of a sudden a dome starts to take over this city, and marauders kind of come out of nowhere and just start causing havoc. And every time the film is about to be boring, Ruggero Deodato changes it. He's like, oh, you thought that was cool? How about statues with fucking lasers? Oh, you're starting to get bored? How about this? You guys want some fucking crazy ass intergalactic woman with monitors everywhere? Oh, you want boat crashes? You want miniatures? Boom, I've got you, dude. It's genuinely such a fun film. I think just as, not only as a filmmaking standpoint, and the commentary with Brad Henderson and Tony King is fun as hell, because Tony hasn't watched the movie since it originally came out, and he's had a life, man. So him reliving this is like, oh shit, this is intense. Like just little moments, and Brad's filling the air with just great knowledge of, because he was actually writing a book on this movie at the time, and he was like, hey, you guys are doing this, I know Tony, I can get him to do a commentary, and I'd love to do it with him and moderate it. And he does an incredible job of just filling that air with like so much knowledge. Like, so I noticed your tennis shoes changed from cut to cut, what day was shot, and like he knew all of this crazy stuff about this movie, and that's the kind of passion that I'm talking about. Like, it descends any kind of difference in label. It's just film lovers loving film together, man, and that's kind of the stuff that's amazing. Watch this. Oh baby, that's beautiful. That's the stuff of legends.
I love that helmet. Oh my god.
Yeah, and he's got a deep voice. He's got great teeth and very jealous. They're very straight, very white. Good for him. But there's action galore. Aaron, I don't know why you don't love it. Maybe it's because you don't love Christopher Connolly. Who knows? I keep wanting to call him Christopher Columbus. That's why I was trying not to do. That would have been a very different movie. But George Hilton's in it, and it's got some great stunt work. I think it's fun for anyone who likes these kind of wild ass movies. It's definitely up there. But there are people who love, if you love miniatures, Warriors of the Year 2072, and who does it better than Fulci himself? He's got his team of miniature men. I don't know what to call them. Miniature specialists. It's got some great stuff on there, man. And I believe a trailer is on our YouTube if you wanted to look. But
God, you're killing me.
It's okay. You don't have to. The stills do a great job, I think. We got a great element for this. It's got some really fun stuff. Studio Canal had, I want to say it was an interpositive, but I can't remember. It's been a bit since it was in my hands. But we went through, got it colored up a little bit more as to how Fulci originally intended it, and we talked to the ghost of Lucio himself and got the confirmation. But I think it's a genuinely pretty interesting part. Endgame, for all you Diamabros bros. It's got Laura Gemser clothed, which is a very rare thing, I think, in a lot of films. But it all takes place in the context of like a Running Man situation where they're on a TV show where they're trying to kill each other, and some of the characters work together to help a bunch of mutants evade being mauled for no point. It's really a pretty entertaining film. Again, I think my favorite would be Raiders of Atlantis, but I know David is very keen on Warriors of the Year 2072. And Zach,
as a fan of Conquest, like, do you think fans of Conquest will agree with David?
I've never seen Conquest.
You've never seen fucking Conquest? Come on.
Hey. Be excited I get to see it now, as opposed to being mad that I've never seen it yet. That's something I always get so excited when someone hasn't seen something that I love, because I mean, like a fucking weirdo. Like, you're not going to watch a movie with me all the time, but I remember when I got to show my wife Deep Blue Sea for the first time, and that monologue with Samuel Jackson comes up, and she felt my head just turn to her as I was like waiting for her reaction. So like, I just get excited to share these films with other people for the first time. And I mean, I've had Conquest on my list of things to watch. I know David is a fan of late era Fulci. That's why some of our, I think it was Demonia, had a great documentary about late era Fulci. And why those films, while they're not everyone's fan favorite, are still important. And on this disc of Warriors of the Year 2072, we have an awesome interview over a period of years with a man who interviewed Fulci multiple times, and we cut together this, I think, 10-minute compilation of some of the best stuff, and I think it's pretty great. Fulci being Fulci, sassy, but towards the end of his career, he got a little more nostalgic of certain things, and they talk about Warriors of the Year 2072 a few times, and it's pretty great, along with a whole slew of other bonus features, including his daughter. One of his daughters is in there, and a bunch of people in the film itself, and who worked on the film. In normal,
I'm very excited about that.
I think it's a fun one for anyone who loves that kind of stuff. And honestly, the miniature work alone is worth a blind buy. If you're a fan of, which one is it? Beyond the Door 3. The same people who worked on that miniature work, which is amazing, created like a Blade Runner situation where it's like there's TV, and it's so fucking cool, man. I can't encourage you just to, I think it's in the trailer, but I recommend it as well. Just the cityscape of the world, Rome. I think it's 2033 or something like that. The year changes between the titles, but it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Oh, that's beautiful. The nipple pasties are in stock, right? Someone just asked. Cinematech just asked if the nipple pasties were coming back in stock.
Well, throughout the year, I'm not gonna lie. For everyone who got them for free and made a goof, I love the video of you just wearing them while unboxing stuff. But yeah, they really sold pretty well. There's a very I don't know. I don't know how to find.
What the fuck are they?
Maybe under miscellaneous. Who knows? But
oh yeah. Okay. Thank God.
Thank God they're there. Severin pasties, nipple. You used the word nipple. We free the nipple here.
Oh, that's why. God damn it.
But yeah, those surprisingly sell consistently. I think that's pretty exciting that those are out there in the world. And if you see one, you immediately have a connection, and you're also probably going to be in already having a connection.
So this is another question some people brought up last time, and I just Antoine in the chat asked. This is another thing where I'm sure even if you have information on this, you can't really say much. But Severin, would they ever consider mid-year subscriptions like Vinegar Syndrome? I hate to keep bringing up Vinegar Syndrome.
I understand,
but,
and that's okay. That's you have a label. I remember hearing your preferred. You're like, there's a race, and every once in a while, one of us takes the lead, and I'm very honored to be in a company where there is Fast and the Furious. I'm seeing that movie tonight, so that's why I'm saying that reference. Fast and the Furious, like, kind of close race, and I'm very honored by that. And Vinegar Syndrome are great people, and to be mixed up with them is extremely humbling. But we don't offer that. I don't know. We've played with the idea, but mainly it's because we don't have a set schedule, because a lot of what we do is dependent on bonus features and where we're at with those. We don't do lighter discs. We try to make everything the end all be all, and sometimes that leads to a documentary about folk horror because, you know, there's some cool stuff in there, or a documentary about anthology films because we're working on an anthology film and it expands into being a full award-winning doc about like filmmakers making or their favorite segments in anthology films. So there is a lot that goes into that, and because of that inconsistency, we can't, sometimes we have 4 releases, sometimes we have a box set. We don't know our full schedule as in advance as they do. Like they already know, they're already telling people what's coming out for the rest of the year, and that's wild. But that's something that they can offer, and it's very great that they can, but we couldn't, and if we did set it up, we wouldn't know necessarily how to price it because it changes. It's a very fluctuating schedule.
So you don't have your shit together like Vinegar Syndrome. Got it. You heard it here first, folks.
That's
you
what
heard
you
it.
took.
You heard it here first.
I think it's because we don't let, I'm not saying this is a thing that they do, but we don't let a deadline stifle creativity. And that's something that another reason.
This sounds like shots fired.
That's what I'm saying. No respect
juicy.
towards them. I buy almost all their shit. And I say almost because sometimes there are movies that are absolutely amazing, but every time I blind buy something, I'm like, oh man, I don't need to watch Cthulhu Mansion again. But like, there is something to be said about working for a company who is like, hey, I have this passion. Can we do something with that? And then all of a sudden we have a film in film festivals touring, and people are getting to see something that is 3.5 hours long, like about folk horror. And that's wild. That Kayla Janice is an incredible filmmaker and someone who has been doing bonus features for us for years, did an incredible series on the Kinky Films in documentaries on there, and was like, I love doing folk horror. Could I make a documentary about that? And David was like, sure, do it. And then all of a sudden now we have that. And it's like, that wouldn't have happened if we were like, well, no, we have to get something out by this day, so let's figure it out. Get it out there. And there's other things that are coming down the line that we are waiting on bonus features because we think it is 100% worth the wait to get it out, to get these bonus features made, and to have that as an essential viewing accompanied piece.
Beautiful words.
Thank
the
you.
Best words.
I'm here for the words.
So, all right. Give me some, because I think Aaron, maybe, I don't know. I can barely, this monitor's so far away, I can barely make out any words. But so Retribution, we talked a little bit about the Jess Franco titles. I know you're not the biggest Jess Franco fan, but we kind of got the general idea there. I know you're not going to recommend those as blind buy must-haves.
If you're a fan of Jess Franco, House of Lost Women is a must. Like, if you love him pushing the envelope, you've got to go for it. And even as someone who isn't a fan of Jess Franco, those pieces of Stephen Thrower going on location and explaining everything and seeing just how naturally beautiful all of those locations just are, and how much of an eye for cinema Jess Franco had, like, they bring an appreciation to it that might make you enjoy the film more than I do. Only because I have to watch them 9 times at points. So yeah, like my emotions towards these films sometimes exacerbate, and one way or another. Like I can tell you I'm the biggest Brides of Blood fan that you will ever see, but it wasn't until viewing number 7 where I became the fan, and I was like, this movie's fucking amazing. I don't care what anybody says. Like there is something about that. So my emotions do kind of get intensified regardless. But yeah, like House of Lost Women, there is something that can be said about that. And Black Boots and Leather Whip, there is some stuff in there that is 100% for other Jess Franco fans. People who liked Bahia Blanca, where the story is a little more strong than the gore and the violence and the sexuality and stuff like that. But there is plenty of that as well. You get to see Lena Romay, all of her. And you get to see a blind woman in a BDSM bar. Like there's always that situation. Lena Romay has her vagina smoke a cigarette in House of Lost Women, and that could be for people.
That's for me. As someone who knows Lena Romay's vagina better than the back of his own hand, I can. That's for me. Sorry, I'm doing Screen Rant work while I'm doing this interview.
No
I suck ass right now. Fucking questions. That's the one problem with my job is I make my own hours, but I always have questions coming at me.
Yeah, no, I know how that goes, man. You're good.
So, by the way, is the Retribution transfer a significant upgrade from
100%.
the, I think, Code Red?
It's great. It's 100%. A great. We got an answer print, and it is in impeccable quality. We had our man Lanny in New Jersey work on the restoration and the color, and he's done some of our more impressive releases. He really went to town, and the one thing that we had over other companies is we're including that uncut version and using the best element of those uncut scenes and intercutting it in using modern day up-res technology to kind of match it, work with the color to make it less noticeable and distracting if it was, and create that complete version. So if anyone wants to see that uncut version, like, this is genuinely the only way to see it, in my opinion. There's a Blu-ray in Germany, but I think we took it, and that mixed with our extras is 100% worth the upgrade. The fact that we're also including the soundtrack from Alan Howarth, who this is one of his, I would say, better soundtracks. It is awesome. Makes it 100% worth the upgrade, in my opinion. But yeah, as far as the element itself goes, I think it is an elemental improvement and upgrade. Subscribe to Screen Rants on YouTube. But yeah, so that I think I see people in the chat are talking about Retribution and Alan Howarth. Yeah, it's Aaron.
Yeah. So okay, how is that a very limited release, the Retribution one?
I'm not sure the number, but it is. I believe it was a pretty decent size limited edition, where we want people to have that opportunity to get the entire package. I'm not sure how limited it was, but I know that we planned to have a decent amount for the sale, just in case.
Jesus Christ. All right. So if here's a tougher question. If there was one that you think people could sleep on for now, like, obviously go buy it later, but one or two from here that they could sleep on to save money, to buy some, discounted releases, because of course you do have the discounts we're going to go through in a second.
That's tough because everyone's tastes are different, and I take that into consideration. But long story short, the only one I would recommend you do not sleep on is Blood for Dracula, but that's a given. That's a film for everybody. But yeah, I couldn't recommend anyone skip on anything, but follow your hearts on these. We definitely focus on quality of film themselves. So if you're at all interested in it and you have the money to blind buy something, I would recommend Raiders of Atlantis. Retribution, I think, is a definite cool film, and if you have the $36 it costs, then go for it. But I would recommend skipping out on titles for you, completely different than I would recommend skipping out on titles for somebody else. It's hard to fully say.
That's so diplomatic, you fucking bitch.
Well, I don't want to discourage people from buying anything that they're interested in, but at the same time, if you were to give me your taste, this is why I work the Severin booth at LA conventions, is because I sit there and I want to work with you to find out I don't want to just push whatever's the newest hot thing. I want to push something that you're going to go, fuck, that was cool. I love. Number one thing for me when it comes to physical media is blind buying. It's the same price as a fucking movie ticket for you and your significant other, or something like that. why not see something you've never seen before? Why not check something out that you're unaware of, and find out if you like it or not? Because if I didn't do that, I would have never seen The Quick and the Dead by Sam Raimi. I fucking bought that shit, and it's now one of my favorite movies of all time. You know, like they're my stacks of shit. Like, yeah, you're gonna get a rainy day, but every once in a while you get a goddamn rainbow, and it is so worth the hours of hunting for something cool that makes you like the movie even more. And that's the kind of stuff that I love sharing with other people and encouraging people
beautiful.
to do. So that's why it's a very hard question to even answer.
Okay, well, let's tell you what, let's take 2 more questions from chat and then dig into the sale.
Sure.
So the first one, and I actually I feel like I've heard the answer to this, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe not, but why was Bahia Blanca limited to 1,000 copies?
It was a licensing situation.
Okay.
The license on that one was because reasons I can't fully get into, but okay. there was a limited license requirement from the people who own the film, so that's mainly why.
Yeah, but you can blame a bunch of fucks. And then, do you think there will be a standard release of Combat Shock?
That is a tough one because we do not own the rights necessarily. That's still owned by somebody else. And we got because Buddy is genuinely the nicest person in the fucking planet. He was like, come on, baby, please do something good for me. I don't know why he's from Brooklyn in like hardcore Brooklyn, but he worked a huge deal with the people who own that film, and they were like, you can do it. You can do a very, like, it was 2,000 copies, and that's why we tried to make that an essential release with the book and stuff like that. But yeah, I it sucks seeing people sell it for like $150 and sell it for $150. Like, I wish we could be like companies like Grindhouse or Garage House and just go, hey, it's stupid that Trailer Trauma 3 is selling for $150. We're gonna print another run and we're gonna sell it for $25. Like, it's like, that's just a rebel without a cause, and I love that, and I'm so jealous that we want to remain legitimate and also give people what they want and give them the opportunity to do so. You know what I mean? So it's a mixed bag on that aspect.
So all right, let's dig into this. Right. Since you do it person to person, you have a fair understanding of my tastes.
Yeah,
I
you're
think.
A perv.
You know what's funny about that, actually, as a short aside, I actually don't give a flying fuck about nudity or sex in movies. I legitimately have never bought a movie or gone to see a movie because I was like, oh, that bitch is hot, I want to see her tits. Literally never has happened. It's funny, people remember the sleazy things and everything. I just find,
meanwhile, I bought Necromancer 100% because I got Elizabeth Catane on the brain.
Exactly. I don't care about nudity and sex, but at the same time, I do enjoy sexploitation.
No, that's more
I think
of
erotica is great.
Funny for that. But if you're a exploitation fan, you would need to see Born for Hell. That movie's fucking amazing. It's right up your alley as far as like pushing those taboos. It's based on a real story, and that kind of just adds to it. And right next to that is Skin Deep, which is amazingly run and gun. You fucking need this thing. Like, if you did you see Saint Bernard?
I still haven't watched it. It was on my pile to watch before the sale, and then with my mom being here, I wasn't able to watch it because I know of it, and I was like, I don't know. Thanks to my mom, will like this.
Yeah, it's not necessarily something I'd watch with my mom, but yeah, it's definitely of that vein of just Larry Cohen run and gun fuck you situation of like, let's make a fucking movie, and that's something I genuinely respect and love. Oh my gosh, you're just adding things to your cart.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna see what happens. We're gonna just this is my own. I'm turning this into my own personal, like, me and you at a con moment. I feel like that's the most fun thing. So I don't want to buy too many things.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot that are on this part because
I think
they're not for sale.
Siege is amazing,
or on sale rather.
But if you wanted to go down to a later catalog, I could
actually own these.
Those. Did you watch Strike Commando?
Not yet.
Oh baby, put that in.
I've heard amazing things. Everybody in the Discord's telling me to watch it.
Show
I
your
just
children. The movie's so great. There's a moment where it's just like you can feel the filmmaking like strike when they were like, we need these two behemoth men to smash heads together. How do we shoot it? Fucking reverse it, ding dong. And it looks so off, but it's so perfect. And it's so like that level of fun throughout. Like I had so much fun. And Reb Brown is amazing. He's amazing.
I'm excited because I do love Reb Brown. I like pretty much everybody involved, but more importantly, I love this cover and I love this gun so much. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, and it's beautiful. I love this turret.
Yeah. A lot of these movies are films that I've never seen before working at Severin, so I kind of go in with that in mind and like compare and contrast against previous versions and editions and see what's in there, make sure we have like the uncut versions available, or at least know what's missing so we can find it. And that was one where I was like, I need more of this all over. We need to find like every inch of this goddamn movie because it's so weird and wild and fun. So yeah.
Well, I will put this on the top of the pile. Now that my mom just left this morning, so I still can't like watch a lot of my movies in front of my child, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fair.
The one problem is
friendly.
He threw a block at me yesterday and like hit my knuckle, and it was like so forceful, and I was like, oh shit, I can't. Oh, you're watching fucking Teletubbies and nothing else, motherfucker. I probably shouldn't call my child a motherfucker. So like these aren't on discount, but like own it.
The sale. The sale stuff.
Let me.
Yeah. I think
go to the stuff.
It's been a long time since I've really looked at her catalog.
I wish. Can I not go to just movies? Like that's a thing.
Yeah,
like
that's
I got Blu-ray, DVD, merch.
What do you mean by movies?
Come on. Like just I like Blu-rays and DVDs. Is that not a thing?
No.
Or can I? No, that's
there. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. There's a shop all situation.
Guys, your website. Oh my god,
I know.
Killing me.
We're working on it.
Killing me.
We're working on it.
All right. So let me just floop-a-doop-a-doop down here.
Keep going down 6 months. We got 6 months. Yeah, here we go. We start getting into the stuff. For you, I know you appreciate a feature and like featurettes. Tales of the Uncanny, I think, is genuinely pretty great.
Own it.
Good. Castle of the Creeping Flesh wasn't necessarily something I loved, but I don't know how you feel about period pieces per se. But this is done in a pretty fun way of making it a period piece while also being contemporary at the time. And it's sleazy, it's dark, it's got a great location. And the dude in it has genuine perv eyes, and there's a bear attack, so it's got everything that you need as a big bear suit man. That film isn't necessarily something that's up my alley, but a lot of people were very excited that we got it. It's German. Just a heads up, it's more German than Italian.
That's okay. I'm German. That's fine.
Oh, you're German?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm from Florida, but
Florida. Flormini. I'm not gonna try. I tried and I failed. Family Portraits isn't a fun time, but that's one that not a lot of people talk about but it's the one that as soon as we released it, I got the most texts about Family Portraits getting announced because that movie fucked someone up when they were a kid. A friend of mine, because of Severin Cellar, Sean Baker texted me immediately and was like, dude, you're putting out Family Portraits? The second segment fucked me up when I told the director of this, and he goes, no fucking shit. And like, so next time Doug's in town, we're all going to grab drinks and he's just gonna be like, so tell me how I ruined your childhood. Like, so that kind of stuff it's pretty exciting. And that's one that, like I was saying, it's not an movie. It's a movie that you love or hate. And that's it causes that reaction.
Ooh,
So
I do like reactions.
Yeah, so that I mean, that's not a limited stock, so it's something that I would say if you wanted to pick it up during a sale, if you wanted to feel adventurous, it's a pretty wild one. Yeah, so if you keep scrolling down, I know our color of Out of Space is $6, so anyone who wants that comes with a free digital download. There you go.
Look at that. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna touch that one. I'm not gonna touch it.
I move on real quick. Black Cat. I know you have to have that.
Yes, one. I bought that. I bought Patrick Still Lives, and I bought Shock Treatment.
Did you watch Shock Treatment?
No, actually, I bought it during the sale.
Okay.
It was I added those 3 in. I was talking to some folks on my Discord and was like, "Oh fuck," and I went ahead and added it.
Shock Treatment's genuinely a great film. It's one of those films. It's very of its time where it's more mystery. And the mystery, luckily, is pretty fucking interesting, of everything going on. And I love just the culmination of that final confrontation, which you can kind of get a sense of what it is. But it's great. And something David remembered most about this movie is the casual nudity, because seeing that on TV when he was a kid, this movie is just full of just people being naked, and it's not sexual, it's just nudity. And he was like, I didn't know you could do that, and that kind of stuff. And so that's what he remembered about it, and that's definitely something that's great. But I also love like films like Chud, where that mystery is there. And I'm one of the very few people I know who like Chud, and it's because that mystery of like, what the fuck is going on in this weird ass like world we're in, and like that alone was what drove me to really get into Shock Treatment. It felt like something that is more mainstream than a lot of people like, but it's also a film that no one's ever seen because it's got Alain Delon naked. So there's that.
Oh, okay.
And like, my mom knew what it was, and my wife kept coming into my office when I was working on it to see what's going on down there. Yeah, there's more to it. There's a really cool story, so I would move that up to your list too.
So that's coming to me. I'm excited about that. All right, and I own Massacre in Dinosaur Valley. Fucking love that movie.
As you fucking should.
And this not so much, but
you didn't like Cruel Jaws?
Cruel Jaws. Yeah. It was all right. It was fine.
It's way better than Deep Blood.
I've heard. Yeah, I keep putting off Deep Blood. Oh boy. The things that y'all get me to buy. Let's see. I still haven't watched Primitives.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of animal torture and stuff like that. And,
yeah,
and even fake and stuff like that. It's kind of a thing for me. Some people don't like feet. I don't like watching an alligator get gutted. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, one day I'll probably watch it because I bought it.
Well, it's not as bad as I made it sound. Like, it is more commercial, and the fact that it's coming from such a unique place, making that kind of film and letting it be completely unhinged is fucking awesome. I know that one came from the same place we got Satan's Slave. And Satan's Slave was one of my favorite films of that year to come out, like that we put out. I thought it was so imaginative and smart, and the creativity they used with what they have as a film company out there, and what they have available and how they decided to use it was fucking so cool to me. Like that, AGFA put out this incredible thing, which if you don't own the Wakaliwood Super Action Double Bill, you gotta fucking buy that. It is a guy in Wakalaga, Uganda, who just uses his entire village to make movies. He doesn't do it for anyone other than them, and it's just a fucking once in a lifetime experience seeing something like that. And I've been very fortunate to see Bad Black in a theater 3 times with different people of the film, include in Q&As. One of them signed a card. I sent it to my brother because he's a huge fan of it, and I didn't tell him my brother's age. He's just Lil Rambo, stay in school. Like, that's what he wrote on. And like, I love those films, and I'm so excited to see what else they come out with. Like, those are films that I will watch over and over and over again, and have. So like,
I do need to buy that. I've watched Who Killed Captain Alex, but I haven't dug into the rest
Bad
yet.
Black is like, it's I've as soon as we got out of quarantine, and my friends were back, so I was like, "You guys want to get together, watch something fun?" And we watched Bad Black, and they were like, "What the fuck is going on? And why am I laughing so fucking hard?" But yeah, so
Right, and my wife liked Captain Alex a lot, so I'll have to.
oh yeah, then you're
put
good.
that on one day.
Then you're good.
I've only read the first chapter of this, despite the fact that I told my patrons I would read the entire thing for them. But this is not a badly written book.
No,
based on
Brad's
that one
the
chapter.
Shit. He works with us a lot, and he's a great dude. And that novelization, he was like, the movie was a little too clean. Let's sleaze it up. And he really went for it. Like, it's pretty fun, man. I think it was a very fun one to dip our toes into the novelization pool with. And yeah, Brad Carter, he's a great writer. He's really fun.
Yeah, I honestly, this is one of my favorite merch things. I mean, it's also one that requires a lot of time.
Yeah.
And passion, but
and, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't our last one. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So moving on down the line, I had not seen this jigsaw puzzle before.
Yo, those are so cool. Yeah, the what's the name of the company that put those out? They're really keeping people busy during quarantine. I know a friend of mine bought, like, they had a Maniac poster, and they're really cool. And the fact that they did one for a Severin title was really awesome. David was very touched, and we have one at the office.
Yeah, I almost regret missing out on this. Almost. I don't really know what I would do with that puzzle. But
having a child and doing a puzzle seems like a very difficult thing.
Yeah, I would not even dare.
Pieces would get soggy.
He only knows destruction.
Yeah.
So Shining Sex, of course, is a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
That was a great release. Enigma. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this, you want to get into Jess Franco, but you want to, like, dive into the deep end, Shining Sex.
Oh, 100%. That's that. Next to Bloody Moon, that's his most commercial title because it has the most legit storyline. And the reason I say next to Bloody Moon and not Bloody Moon is because Jess Franco apparently did not love Bloody Moon. But in my opinion, it's my favorite of the films that he's done. But Shining Sex is pure, unadulterated Jess Franco, but with a very cohesive storyline that is out of this fucking world. And I say those words.
I love that you're calling a Jess Franco. I like that you're calling Shining Sex cohesive.
It's
Like, that really
consider like
it is, because you can piece together the story.
Yeah.
But it's still one of those things where while you're watching, you're like, what? Wait, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
What? Why is she? Is she in Africa right now? What the fuck is happening? Why is there glitter all over her vagina?
Who cares? They're having sex, man.
But you are right. It is one of his more cohesive works, and just fantastic in so many ways.
It's a great restoration too.
It is, yes. Yeah, I wish you didn't have the licensing issue with Bahia Blanca, because that's up there as one of his best goddamn movies.
Yeah, it is. It's really
such a beautiful film.
And it's one that I wish who knows, the world is too short. The world is too short. That's not a sentence. You can never say never, because there are always things that happen. But yeah, I genuinely am bummed more people weren't able to try that one out.
Yeah. I'm glad I got it. That and Combat Shock are both ones where I'm like, oh, thank fucking Christ I picked that up when I did.
Yeah, that was the fun thing about conventions, because conventions were able to kind of get those titles out there that shouldn't be out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
I don't know why this is the move I've decided to make. The wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But if you're ever at a convention, don't hesitate to ask for those kind of titles, because chances are we have a few that we legally can't sell online, but might fall off of the truck. Yep, I'm done. I give up.
Go to conventions, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Venus and Furs is cohesive. That's a good point,
yeah,
Kevin.
I haven't seen that one. If that.
Okay, all right.
So
that makes sense. You're not a big.
I have to get paid to watch these movies.
So Enigma and Demonia, I have both. Both are really solid.
Enigma's pretty great. Demonia is very beautiful and very different, and that has, I think, the more interesting bonus features to me. But that is a harder sell, I think, as far as I'm not a huge nunsploitation person, but for those who are, I think they really love Demonia. But I think Enigma was much more my level of fun, wild shit. There's a scene where everyone's using flashlights, but it's still bright outside. And like those kind of choices, and the theme song is fucking amazing.
Truth. I mean they're both as far as the Franco horror canon, they're both lesser Franco in that sense. But I would say even lesser Franco is pretty fucking good. Like there's a few of the TV movie things at the end that were, but I can't say I've ever like straight up disliked a Franco movie.
You're Fulci?
I'm thinking about it.
Fulci or Franco?
Or Fulci, sorry.
I just want to make sure. Because I know you didn't dislike a Franco movie. You perv!
Sorry. Bring that back. They're both lesser Fulci.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. This is gonna be bad. If this is how I am right now, the Master Chaos stream is gonna be awful.
You're gonna be great.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. So they're both lesser Fulci, but I've never seen a Fulci that I didn't like to some degree. I mean, there's some like Manhattan Baby where it's like that almost worked.
Yeah.
They're always but cool even ideas. Then, yeah. There's still that. There's a certain joie de vivre that Fulci puts into his movies that I can't not love. I still haven't watched Fulci for Fake. I heard some lesser things about it, and I just haven't. It's in my big watch pile in the living room, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
If you're a Fulci fan, like a big Fulci fan, you'll enjoy it because you're at least learning a lot about the man. The way that they did the documentary is very different, and that's, I think, why a lot of people weren't super responsive towards it, is because they scripted a wraparound trying to Fulcify something, as for lack of better words. They tried to create a man who got cast as Fulci in a movie, and in order to portray him correctly, they are interviewing people throughout his life, and so the delivery of information is very interesting, and the way that they decided to do it, I thought was pretty ingenious as far as that goes. There's everyone who's in it is very passionate, and like the bonus features on that, if you're at all interested in just hearing stories of how he was as a person, as I know a lot of people are, they put like pretty much the uncut raw interview of his daughters on there, who died shortly before the release came out. But she just doesn't hold back, and like the stories that didn't make it into the film for timing reasons are just as interesting as the ones that did, so it's more of like a Fulci completist. If you're interested in Fulci as a man, then it's an essential watch. But if you're like not a huge doc person, or you don't really care, you just like watching his movies, then yeah, I wouldn't say. You've
actually sold me on like trying to watch that tomorrow now.
Oh wow, Jesus.
Yeah. So good job.
Thank you. I think I think you'll enjoy it nonetheless.
Let's see. I don't give a fuck about The Beast Must Die.
I'm not a Hammer person myself in those kind of movies. I know that's blasphemy from a lot of people.
I'm glad you said those kind of movies. I was about to blast you for that.
It's not a Hammer film. I know that. It's just not my kind of thing. It's a great remaster of it. So if
y'all did great work on it.
Yeah,
I find it to be a very just like
I love William Castle
boring
gimmicks.
film.
I love William Castle gimmicks. I think Castle's like one of my favorite filmmakers as a filmmaker, like to the point where I'll see anything he did just because I recreated can't find him now, obviously. Oh, here they are.
This is gripping stuff, guys.
I'm here to show you my bald spot. I love William Castle to the point where I recreated Ghost Viewers when the Indicator set came out because I wanted to have that experience. I made like full on like the real ones that I wanted, and I made like other gimmick things that I could when theaters were open out here and I was very single. I used to volunteer at a theater out here who would do the Tingler, and we would set up we would set up the. Sorry, I'm using my phone as my webcam because I don't do this very often. So that was my phone going off. But I would volunteer my time to put in all of those motors under the chairs, and we would recreate the Tingler like as it was done in theaters. I made like macabre life waivers. If you died by fright, we'd give you $1,000, and it's just stuff I do for my friends when I want to have like movie nights and stuff. And so like that gimmick of who's the killer, like the clock counter. I love the concept, but yeah, man, there are some performances that are pretty fun, but it's overall not my kind of thing. Like I love the trailer for it, and if the trailer gets you, maybe give it a shot, you know. But I know David really loves that movie and those kind of films. So
it is very British, so that's
very
not surprising.
British.
Yeah, I'm more. That's one of my lesser Amicus movies, and I like Amicus movies. I like Hammer movies. They're not my favorites, but they are definitely things I enjoy. But I don't know, something about The Beast Must Die just bores me to tears. I think it's partly because I lost his name, but the main guy, the rich dude, the hunter, just not
great.
Yeah, he should not be in that role. Yeah. Like I think if I remember correctly, it was like blaxploitation. They wanted to like get in on that.
Yeah, they're really honest.
There's so many great black actors.
There are. No, they really go into it in the bonus features and talk about why it worked, why it didn't work, and things like that. It's really interesting on that aspect, and that's something that I love about my job, is where I'm able to review all the bonus features and kind of get that context and force myself to learn that context, so I can at least find something to appreciate about the films. Because it's not my job to love every movie we put out, but I should at least be knowledgeable and understand why this kind of movie is of interest to others. And there are people who love Hammer and Asylum and Amicus. I mean, people who do love Asylum. I think Mark Savage talks about Asylum in his episode of The Severin Cellar, which is on Facebook, and I believe it's being uploaded to YouTube, if not now, in the near future today. But he talks about that stuff, and there is an audience for that. I'm not it, but I appreciate those who are, and the fact that they can see this in HD.
Revenge of the Living Dead Girls.
Not my thing.
I've heard like a bajillion different opinions on this movie.
Not my thing. But
okay,
the bonus feature of the guy who since killed himself, the guy who did all the special features for it, special effects, genuinely one of my favorite bonus features that exists, because he talks about like they had no fucking money. They wanted like these full zombies, but they still wanted boobs, and they only had $50. So I'm like, yeah, I'll make the masks. Oh, you want them naked? Well, just get over it. And so people like the zombies in this thing are like there's a cutoff of where the boobs start and where the mask stops, and like they were like, the main girl needed to have these crazy hands, but they only gave me enough money and time to make one. It's just so like there's so much, and then like that makes it more fun to watch because you're looking for those kind of moments. That is definitely of the sleazier ilk. I know Zach, the other co-host of the podcast, loved this one, and that I give them 100% respect for the fucking style of ending that they gave. Like they followed up at the very end like, hey, don't tell anyone what happened in the movie, like let them experience it, like, but tell people to watch it. And it's like, I love the card. There was an alternate ending for the movie that is included on the disc, and it is very different than the final ending that ended up making it. So yeah, for anyone who loves these kind of movies, I know a friend of mine, William Campbell, loves this movie and stands by it. And so for people who love sleaze and just sleaze for sleaze's sake, my God, then this is a must buy. But if you're like me and you don't necessarily need that in your life, girls drinking milk naked, like who knows, that could be your kink. And then you would say thank you. But
that's tough. I'll probably wait for the next sale, but that's definitely
it's a fun watch if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do like sleaze, but there is also a point where I can tire and just want something else. So that's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you're like, man, wife's out of town, I can't go anywhere, I need to watch something nasty, let's get sleazy with it. but also humble because they're drinking milk. Wholesome. They're also so wholesome because they're like, haha, we just had great sex. Let's drink some milk, and then they die because the milk is poisoned. But yeah, it's fun for those who like that kind of stuff. I'm very interested. I wonder how Aaron feels about what's it called? Revenge of the Living Dead.
Revenge of the Living Dead Girls. Aaron, speak up in chat if you're still there. Let me know what you think. All right, so let's see here. I do love the pasties. You have some weird ass merch.
That's something I love too. Is just how weird, like for fucking for Petita Durango, we did a baby fetus in a jar. Like, what company is gonna do that? That's insane.
Did that come out all right? Because I didn't get the bundle, so I never got that.
It did. I was surprised it was firm. I was expecting it to be like GAC or something like that you could play with. But there's one at the office, and I'm like, well, we fucking did it. Like, David makes fun of me because on our podcast, I'm always shocked at the things he decides, like, let's make merch out of that. And I'm like, what are we fucking doing? Let me see if I have it. My pen for here it is. No, that's not it. I don't know where my pen is. My vampire my Nosferatu in Venice pen, where it's like, who the fuck is gonna do that? And I just love that David is like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make a bunch of them. We're gonna fucking have fun doing it. Yeah.
Okay. So I of course I have Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. It's a great film. Sergio Martino kicking ass. Horrors of Spider Island.
This is tough because I love so much of the concept. I love the character design. I actually keep my friggin' spider on my desk because I love looking at this thing. But that movie is so weird. But it is so fun. It mixes the wholesomeness of Horror of Party Beach, which I genuinely love, and the
I love Horror Party Beach so much.
So great.
I really do.
And the sleaziness of German horniness, horn dogs, and like meshes it together into let's have like naked girl pillow fights, and also a dude stuck into a giant spider web. Let's find the mix match there. There's a lot of dancing in there. Like, the Germans apparently love dancing. But yeah, I think as far as that release goes, it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun one-time watch for me. That I had to watch multiple times because we got a bunch of different elements, and we were very fortunate to mix those elements to create one super element that created the ultimate picture quality, in my opinion, for that release. It's not something that you would normally see get this kind of a release, so for that I appreciate the amount of time that went into it. We were very lucky to get such good elements for that. And for that, it's like, it was a gamble, and I feel like a lot of people were very positive about it as far as a release goes, and the people who love those kind of movies, like Mystery Science Theater without the commentary, that kind of thing, without the jokes being made about it, those kind of, like, Horror of Party Beach is genuinely a fun time capsule into that era of film, and it was made fun of on Mystery Science Theater 3000, but I didn't know that when I first saw it, like 5-7 years ago or something like that, at an all-night horror-thon at 2 a.m. That movie played, and I fell in love with everything about it. I could see someone having that same scenario with Horror of Party Beach, or Horrors of Spider Island, and it's not just because there's horror in the title, but because of the time capsule of where we were, what people thought were interesting, and the bold choices of accents that all of the women use. So do you know anything about it?
Not really, no.
So basically, this guy is hiring women dancers to go on the road to do a big gig, and there's like 8 women and him on a plane that crashes. They're the only survivors, and they land on Spider Island, which happens to be inhabited by some very interesting characters, and there's other people they meet. There's dancing, there's not lab dances, but sensual strip teases, and like it has that level of German angst. Is that a German movie? Angst sounds very German.
Yes,
but not as grim, and like really a really fun jazz score. But it's basically them just traveling around this island, meeting people, trying to survive until help comes. And you know, for those who like those kind of films, I think it's definitely up there. I don't know if it's your bag necessarily, because I don't know how you are with like black and white films.
I love black and white films.
Oh, then okay. So if that's the case,
I have a shitload of Indicators and Criterion and all kinds of stuff that's predominantly black and white. You'd be surprised the kind of stuff I'm into. I just bought every Fritz Lang movie except for I think Metropolis from
Eureka. Yeah, and Kino has a great early era.
And I have that. I have the Kino from Metropolis. That was one of my first. That was my first ever Kino purchase years and years ago when it first came out.
I think it's 1,000 Eyes of Dr. Mabuse that has an amazing booklet in there. If you don't have that release, and Fritz apparently had a pet stuffed monkey that he would bring everywhere named Peter, I want to say, but it is absolutely like the booklet. I went with my wife to get a COVID vaccine for her, and I was like, I just watched that movie and I brought the booklet with me, and she's like, "You've never looked more autistic." I was sitting there waiting for the shot to be done, pulling out my Blu-ray so I could read the booklet. And I was like, I was like that. I mean, I was so interested in what they were going to say, because I mean, Fritz is such an interesting filmmaker, and I love that he's getting so many of his films put out in such great releases. And Eureka, they've been one of my favorite labels, not just of Region B stuff, but in general with what they've been doing. And I'm so happy companies like them and 88 are putting out all this Hong Kong stuff, and I'm so ready for more. Yeah, like there's so much great stuff coming out on Blu-ray, and if you
we're in a weird sort of golden age when it comes to at least physical media.
Yeah,
despite the impending doom of everything that it feels like with streaming. But
dude, I disagree. But I think
with the impending doom.
No, yes, but
the golden age.
Like I understand that. Yeah, I disagree. This is a terrible time for Blu-rays. Everyone's making records. everyone's putting out some incredible stuff, and like no, I don't think physical media is going anywhere. I think it might get smaller, but with the size decreasing, it only makes the fan base more passionate and more.
Oh yeah, what I mean is like where like the the mainstream popularity of physical media is decreasing so much, and so like when you go to like say Best Buy and there's like a single aisle now where it used to be like 5 or 6.
I think it's mainly to stop people from stealing. Because like they don't necessarily like, I don't know, it very much so, like, but at the same time I don't know how much Vinegar Syndrome and how much of us and how much of Arrow. Well, I know Arrow is definitely much more commercial as far as like being the now defunct Fries, and you know, I would see them all the time. I'd see us in Fries and stuff like that. But Best Buy and stuff like, I know their standards of what they're willing to put in there has to meet a lot of certain things, and that's something, you know, that our normal catalog doesn't find itself in. But I know Overboard is, you know, I pretty positive that's already going to be picked up and put in Walmart and stuff like that. So I know that that's getting in-store releases and stuff like that. And all I feel bad for are people like Cool Duder and Film Fan 101 and all the people who do the Tuesday pickup hauls. They're just going to have less stuff to talk about. Shout out to Cool Duder.
Why are you doing this to me, man? Why are you doing this to me?
I'm on the forums. I know. I love seeing these people. Like, I can't remember Sean, Film Fan. Just he has these these Tuesday out and about, and his presentation of his intro gets me every fucking time. He's like, "Hey everyone, and he's got his thing does auto stabilization, but it stabilizes to this part of his face, so he's moving his head around, and I love it so much because the camera moves but his face doesn't, and he's like, we're doing the out and about, and today Walmart, and like he goes in and he just picks things up. I don't know if he buys anything, but he buys so much boutique stuff, so obviously he's going out there shooting those, and like people like that I love. Just all of their channels because of how wholesome and genuine they are being and creating content. But they're also like, who's the guy who does he has like a 9-hour YouTube video every fucking week, and he does chemical toilet or something like that, movie toilet, film toilet. I can do the theme song in my head right now. You know who I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Man, I can't remember his name, and it's gonna drive me nuts, and I feel like such a jerk. But he always posts on Facebook when his videos go live, and I fucking sit there and I watch it because he's so in depth and he doesn't stop talking the entire length of the video. It is not I don't know when he breathes because there are no cuts. He is so good at what he does, and he people I hope watch because his fucking room is a movie connection booth of just nonstop stuff. I can't remember his name and it's driving me nuts. Sorry.
Well, if you remember, mention it so that people can go watch his face. I oddly enough don't actually watch that many Blu-ray or movie like physical media YouTubers, mostly because I don't have the time.
That's fair
to do that. But
my problem is this is genuinely what I love, and so even when I'm not working, I'm watching this shit. So like I'm always going out there and trying to keep at least my finger on the pulse of what people like.
I got you. I mean, it is. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mostly watch analysis videos.
That's fair.
I'm one of those guys. Yeah, I watch a lot of video essays. All right, let's get through these a little bit faster.
Sorry, I'll be better.
No, I wish we had even more time.
Yeah.
This is actually really fun. I like this a lot.
Screaming Toilet. That's the name of the website that he posts his video to. Screaming Toilet.
Screaming Toilet. Okay. All right. I'm actually gonna wait a second. I'm gonna open another tab. Screaming Toilet, just so I have that. Oh nope, I don't want a fix. I don't know how it automatically put in Screaming Toilet fix. I hope that does anybody have a Screaming Toilet that they need? Okay. Anyway, back to Severin. You already sold me on Severin Slave earlier, so I'm not. Or Severin, Jesus Christ, Satan's Slave earlier. I keep meaning to watch it on Shudder, and I keep not because have a child.
The remake on there. Just so you know, this is the original, not the remake that came out.
I
know. I don't know if that was streaming still. I'm surprised. So that's cool.
Oh, it might not be.
But it's a great film. Another one that I would rapidly tell people to buy is Boys Next Door. That's one that I don't feel gets enough love, and it drives me nuts because it's such a great film. It's by director Penelope Spheris, who is like most known for, in my mind, Suburbia and Decline of Western Civilization trilogy of documentaries. Which, man, Decline of Western Civilization Part 2 is genuinely one of my favorite films of all time. Not just documentaries, not just movies about rock, but just movies of all time. I bought that fucking box set that Scream Factory put out because that's the only way to get it on Blu-ray, and god damn it, I love it. If you've never seen it, I can't recommend it enough. And this is the movie she made right after Suburbia, which is I revisited it for the first time in a long time this year. Have you seen Suburbia?
I've seen half of it, and I own it, and I just have never.
It's tough.
I talked about this in a streamer, I think this week. If you were to do a ratio of the movies I've seen and the movies that I have seen, like fully? Chunks or most of, it's about even. Because I am always getting interrupted or have to leave or something in the middle of a movie.
That's fair. I mean,
so I'll have an opinion about something, but it's definitely not checked off my letterbox, and I probably don't know how it is.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a great cast of Charlie Sheen and what's his name? I've met him a few times because he's in Grease too, and that's like one of my favorite musicals. Maxwell Caulfield. So those two are, it's kind of like the makings of a serial killer. Like Charlie Sheen and Maxwell are high school graduates who leave town to go out there and, go to LA right before they get a job at the mill and move on with their lives and stuff like that. It's genuinely eerie. Penelope isn't a huge fan of it because of how violent it was and how She went too far in her mind, and I think she was doing the right thing because she followed the way the story felt it should go, and she followed her gut. And while it wasn't a commercial success, it is genuinely a cinematic one. I would recommend that just because it's a fucking great film. Everyone's performances.
I think that's in my orders, actually.
There's 2 shots that we tried to include in the film, but they were not. They didn't make it into the final cut, so they didn't have final sound made. It was too much for the censor board, so they took it out of a woman screaming like "Please don't" as she's about to be shot in the face. And that didn't make it into the cut. And then there was another bit in there that it's very wild considering how much aggressive shaking and violence and stuff is in that movie. And people know Maxwell Caulfield for Empire Records. Say no more, mon amour. It's Rex Manning Day every day in my house, baby. And Grease 2 and a few other films, but he is not known enough for his work on a movie that we put out called Boys Next Door. Charlie Sheen once had Martin Sheen came to set one day and told Charlie, like, hey dude, like, you can leave, like, you're only a couple days into this, you don't have to make this movie, this is a bad move on your end. And the fact that things like that happened is insane. And Charlie said, fuck you, dad, and made the movie anyways and gave it 110%. And it's just a time capsule. Also, real quick, I'll shout out Blood on Satan's Claw. It is a great film, and I believe it's only available during sales.
Yes,
and that's mainly due to a licensing issue. It was one we were able to work out because of scalpers being douchebags online and selling it for $75 when it's a $30 movie or something like that. I think that's bullshit. And we were able, like, luckily the people were like, yeah, that is kind of bullshit. And so it's on our site during sales just because there's other versions out there, while ours is a different master and has a bunch of extra features. There is a better, not a better license, but a stronger license elsewhere that we don't want to like hurt. Like, we don't want to, it's hard to fully get into, but that film is so, if you want to talk folk horror, I should introduce you to Kayla Janice. I think she is genuinely just one of the smartest people and well researched people, and that was a film like fan favorite. So the folk horror documentary that is currently running festivals was originally intended to be a bonus feature on Blood on Satan's Claw, and the documentary took a life of its own, and she was like, look, this is bigger than just than Blood on Satan's Claw, we need to, and that's why we were like, okay, we'll put the movie out, but you continue working on your doc. So that film inspired her to create something that has now won an audience award at South by Southwest, and it's continuing to play festivals, and it's available to watch and 100% worth your time if you have 3 hours and 15 minutes to hear people fucking nerd out about a very specific genre. And it's awesome because she filled it with specialists, filmmakers who know their shit, not just filmmakers who are famous for something, but filmmakers who know their shit. And that is the kind of stuff that I respect. Blood on Satan's Claw is genuinely a fun movie to watch. You perv, you're going to love Cries of Pleasure because people fuck in front of a safe full of gold.
Cries of Pleasure is great. I love Cries of Pleasure. I love Night of Open Sex.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Blood on Satan's Claw. I have that. I was pleased. I can't say that I loved it, but I did. It was one of those, like, no, I can't say there's anything necessarily bad about this movie, but it was
it's British.
Really good.
It's British.
It is very British. But I love folk horror in general, so I'm very excited for that documentary.
Yeah,
I'm pretty pumped for that.
I believe it's playing Chattanooga Film Festival, which is a digital thing. So if you do want to see it before it, gets taken from any festivals, there it is available there.
I'll have to put that in a tab too, just so I don't forget.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer you want to go because I could genuinely just keep going.
All right, let's try to only stop me if it's something you recommend. Okay.
Go past the astrologer.
And like, yeah,
immediately.
Give me like heavy recommends too, like the ones where you're like, you need to own this.
Pretty quiet. I'll keep pretty quiet.
Okay.
I'll be very. Man, I already want you to stop just because I want to know your peanut butter solution. Stop on peanut butter solution.
There it is.
Stop on peanut butter solution.
I own it.
Okay, good.
I really love it. I cannot wait to show it to my son.
Watch the 35
he's not old enough yet.
print version. That is the producer's cut, not the director's cut, because the director prefers the theatrical release that came out. But the producer's cut that we found because we troll the fucking boards. This woman named Coda hit us up and was like, "Hey, dude, like, know this exists. I saw this movie and there was versions with like extra stuff where where the kid with the growing pubes has a scene, has additional parts where his voice changes and becomes a man for a second, and like all this other wild shit." And she's like, "Here are the scenes. I recorded it when I was at the theater, and that print apparently got burned because the director hated it so much that they erased every version of it, kind of like the way of E.T. But this version was mislabeled at I believe it was AGFA who ended up having the final print. We tracked down where she saw it, what theater it played at, where that print came from, found it, saw who owned the license, got the rights to like release this version as well, and it is 100% worth watching. It is not as clean as the original camera negative that we got to the theatrical, but I felt like that added to the experience that you could have both, because it makes it feel like kind of like you're not supposed to watch it because the director didn't necessarily want you to watch it. And that alone I thought was 100% worth the buy. So yes, watch it with your child. I want that scarred memory, baby. I need you to tell me what happens. All right. Yeah, you can keep scrolling.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like.
I do love V, but I feel like that's something you would already own if you're a fan of folk horror.
Oddly enough, I don't own it because I watched it on Shudder, and I did enjoy it a lot. But I'm being a bit of a dick, and I'm getting the
Eureka version.
Eureka cut.
That's
yeah,
okay. I own the Mill
like the
Creek
special
version
features
of 7. Yeah, they didn't go with our special features, and that's cool. I love. Mill Creek put out a movie called Pulse for $6 when it came out on Blu-ray immediately. That's a day one buy for me. I love that movie. Eureka put it out for $30. Guess what? I bought that shit again because that movie's fucking fun, and it came with bonus features. I was so excited. Gwendolyn's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I love Gwendolyn. Shout out to All That Is Man, who also loves Gwendolyn. I think Matt also loves Gwendolyn. I think everybody who's seen Gwendolyn in my Discord loves it.
As they
it
should.
It was a revelation because they kept talking. I hate this art. I did not find it all that interesting. Like, it just looked kind of like, okay, whatever. And then I saw it and I was like, where the fuck was this? And eventually, and like later, when I actually opened it up, I saw the other art, which I assume is in here. This art, which is much more interesting.
Yeah,
like this is the good art.
It was this is one of those situations where we decided to go the other way with it, where we did the slipcover had the custom art made, and I think the way that the trend has gone lately is making the original art poster the more exclusive slip, because it's pretty fucking awesome. I'm not faulting it. I think that poster, it's very different and very strange, and I know a lot of people liked it regardless, but I prefer that it's just a longer name. It's the original name that I think we put that cut on there as well, the Yik Yak.
Yeah, and a fantastic job with that one. I love it to pieces. It's so good. I already ordered The Boys Next Door. We already talked about it. Let's see here. Not a huge fan of Paganini horror. That was one video.
I wanted to like it so much.
A lot of people did not agree with me on that one.
I didn't care for it, but I love that character so much, of the music, the guy who comes out with a violin with a knife in it. Like, there's every element of that movie should be amazing. And for some people, like my friend Peter Huntley, who is a great producer of reality TV and a huge fucking physical fan, and when we worked together, he would not shut up about everything. Like the minute he found out I worked for Severin, he was like, "Shut up! Oh my god, tell me all about this." And like when we put out Paganini Horror, he went to a screening of it and was like, "I just bought the Blu-ray. I don't care. I just watched it again in the theater and it was amazing." And I'm like, "I'm so happy that this is out for you, but man, it is not for me."
Yeah, it's one of those movies. There's certain movies where someone will say like, "Oh, it has this, this, and this. You gotta love it." Like, yeah, it does have those things.
You don't have to,
and
love
it still doesn't fucking work, which is kind of astounding.
But there is an amazing thing that I've found while working on movies like Nosferatu in Venice and Paganini Horror. There is a clause in the contract for Donald Pleasance that he has to eat throughout every one of his scenes. And like he munches up so much of these movies, and it's so great. Not just chewing the scenery, but chewing a steak, chewing some grapes, drinking some wine.
It's such a weird clause.
It's so great. I don't know if that's like actual, but it is consistent with his work in Italy. It is fantastic. I think he just loved the food so much.
All right. I do want Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory, but I keep putting it off.
Yeah, that's another one that it's very.
I love incest, but I don't know.
Byleth, another one that wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, which is why I didn't say anything. Killer Crocodile, you could stop on that one. That one's really fun.
Yeah, I own that one. Yeah, I gave a very glowing review for that.
Killer Croc is pretty fucking fun. Oh, cool. Vive slipcovers is up. I didn't know that.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, look at us. Look at us. Who would have guessed?
I was very disappointed to see that the slipcover for Beyond the Darkness is so expensive. Someone said I needed to own that for some reason.
Is available if you just wanted to buy the slip, I believe. If I remember correctly, it's like $8.
Yeah, but
I don't know, like $8.
But I could get the
or you could also buy the Blu-ray.
I left Beyond the Darkness because I needed to slim down my cart.
That's fair, but it's a staple from Severin, so I don't think that's going anywhere. Night Killer, you've got to own it. I feel like
I do own Night Killer.
It's so great. It's so wild and fun. Like we do a festival out here every once in a while called the Severin Shock Pop-Up Festival, and that was one I like. We were all drinking at a bar. Everyone's like, the festival's starting, so like it's time to relax. And I was like, I kind of want to watch this with a crowd because I feel like that's gonna be the best thing ever. And guess what? It fucking was. That movie was so fun to watch with people because every choice that is made in that movie is the wrong one, but in the right way. And it's such a fun viewing experience. That one,
it's one of those that it almost feels like it should, if it wasn't so fucked up, I feel like it would be like a Troll 2.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not a commercial choice of film, but that one, I was ready for a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff, kind of like what is it, Maha Kanal or something like that. I was ready for something like that, but what I got was way better than anything I could have imagined. I can't recommend it enough. Same with RoboWar. RoboWar's a really fun time. It's not, in my opinion, as fun as Strike Commando, but it is Reb Brown, Bruno Mattei. I believe it's Bruno Mattei. It might be Fergazzo. I can't fully remember. But it's one of those, and it's the same thing where they just like, fuck it, let's just go for it, and just go out there, have fun, blow shit up, and be weird. And something that's very interesting is in Italian, they didn't have the robot voice say, it's silent and creepy. That's just Italian. Same with all right, my last recommendation, I would say, because I will not shut the fuck up. I need to stop. Your bear suit must be so warm. You're in Vegas.
It's extremely hot, yeah.
The last one I will say that does not get enough love because enough time has passed and no one's talking about it is not Anthropophagus. I'm not a huge fan of Anthropophagus, but I am 100% a fan of Absurd. That release that we put out for that is so great because it comes with the soundtrack. It comes with 2 cuts of the film, and the Italian cut, guess what it has? More spaghetti eating. It has 5 minutes of them extra watching it has more violence, but it also has like a 5-minute scene of them watching the game, the big game that's definitely not the Super Bowl, and eating spaghetti. And they were like, let's cut that out of the Americans because you know what? This is for us. Italians, we get it. Oh,
luckily cool. I already own Absurd. I I still haven't watched it yet. I've seen Anthropophagus, and I liked it.
It's not for me, like I said, but there is something magnetic about watching George Eastman be maniacal and terrifying, and that's why I think I gravitated more towards Absurd, because it's not him in a costume being scary, it's him being terrifying. And there's also a priest who runs out of breath in the middle of a chase scene, and I love that. He's just running. He's still coming. He starts running again. And like those kind of things, like those choices are so fun for me as a film fan. So I love Absurd, and the soundtrack is awesome that we included in that release. So that's what I would recommend people pick up that they might not already have.
Okay. I'm looking through here just to, let's see. I would say Next of Kin is definitely
for sure,
a necessary pickup. That's just a very well-made film. How's Invasion of the Blood Farmers? I should probably show this.
I love that movie. Okay, so thank you. You're not stopping, and I appreciate that. I love Invasion of the Blood Farmers so much. So this movie, we got this one right after we did the Blood Island trilogy, which was Beast of Blood, Mad Doctor of Blood, Island, and Bride of Blood. And I was like, thought this was the fourth child. I was like, oh, cool. They went back to the States and made more movies. And David was like, how dare you consider this the same? This is way better. And I'm like, I know, I was confused. I'm like, they just gave up on the island where they shot all this stuff. It's so weird and so fun. And I like David's big thing about this one is that he saw that cover and said, it's too cool not to be see. Like, that poster is amazing. And the movie is not that poster, and he was bummed by it. I'm like, so you decided to buy the rights and make everyone feel as bummed as you did as a kid? I don't understand. And no, that movie is so fun. It is a magnetically awful movie that is just, it makes so many bold choices and has one of the best fuck you endings. If there's anything that I love in film, it's a fuck you ending. It is Tulane Blacktop burning out at the very last minute. Sorry if you haven't seen the movie. It is so great. It is fucking like another one that's just a great fuck you moment is Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. That last minute where you go, oh fuck you, I want to keep watching. Like, this has one of those moments, and I cannot, like, even if I told you how it ended, it would not change the shock of how it fucking ends. All of a sudden, it was a pickup or something. Like, they were like, the world's over, we saved the day, all right. And then you go out to the garage, there's a big scream, and then the main character comes down. All of a sudden, in this garage, now he's in a black backdrop in the middle of daytime, and he's like, I bought you a puppy, haha. And then the fucking guy, the camera's still on him, he doesn't know what to do, so he just nods his head, like points at the camera, gives it a wink, and then fades to black. I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? This movie about Satanists bringing back like a crazy god of theirs, and like farmers, like people going around sucking the blood out of like strangers, kidnapping them, and it's just like, what did I watch and how did it end like this? It's so crazy. I love that movie so much.
Well, I'm sold on Invasion of the Blood
Holy
Farmers.
Shit, you have to buy it. And that shirt,
I think you might like The Head if you like fuck you endings. By the way,
I've heard of The Head, but I have
it's
not seen
by
it.
a director, Michael Keene.
Fuck you.
It was
I will watch it. If it's got a fuck you ending, I'm always down for a good fuck you ending, man. But Skinner is also a great release. There was a scene
I have
there
Skinner.
you could understand
Very
why
good.
it did not get as wide of a release upon initial come out, but because like you're watching the movie and you're like, this is pretty fucking great. I can't understand why this was lost. And then you get to that one scene, you go, this is why. And the fact that Ted Raimi is in the bonus features talking about that and going, yeah, I know. And just kind of getting into that. And he's so fucking great. He came to a screening afterwards to talk about it in person. And like, the love for that movie is genuinely there. I think K&B did the effects, like, and it's really well directed, really great soundtrack. And yeah, at the same time, I'm not advocating what happened, but at the same time, it's a 100% the right, correct, like, character choice. Tracy Lord severely burned in that film, so if you're into watching porn stars just have like scars, then get at it. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, it's a tough movie to like say you should watch this, because you're like, why should I watch this? What did I do? What about me makes you think I need to see a movie where a guy does blackface in a skin suit made of a black man? Like, there's but at the same time, it's a pretty great release.
Guys, if you're not sold on this yet,
yeah, it's a very taboo film, and that's kind of something that I can't recommend. The documentary All the Colors of Giallo, I can't
very
recommend
good.
that enough. It comes with a fucking
the trailers thing is phenomenal.
So great.
So good for parties too. 100%. I love that, and the AGFA horror trailers
I'm still here.
Release.
I was gonna tell you, I'm a trailer fucker. I love trailers so much. God damn it.
Well, he's dead.
I did tiered shelving, and it's like great for saving space, but at the same time, it's a pain in the ass when you want to grab something. But I love trailer compilations.
Jesus Christ.
And we did 2 that are absolutely worth buying, because I'm a Hong Kong freak, and David loves Bruceploitation. If you don't have these in your collection, the Trailers of Fury and the Return of Trailers for Fury, you are doing something wrong, because they are so fucking awesome. I love kung fu movies, especially ones that just said fuck it and just did whatever they wanted to do. Like, there's movies with his Mad Dog style knows no bounds, and you cut to the dude and he's like, and he's like, it's like weird like choices. It's so fun. Watch those trailers, man. If you like trailer compilations, All the Colors of Giallo.
I will. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, All the Colors of Giallo I definitely endorse. The Blood Island stuff is really fun. Of course, we mentioned Absurd. Horror Party Beach, also mentioned. Fantastic release. The Changeling is, a classic. If you like good, solid, old school haunted house movies, grab it. Let's see here. The Kung Fu trailer sets rule. Okay. Matt also loves the Kung Fu sets.
Good job. You're a smart man.
I do not share the love of Shocking Dark that many do. I think it is
there is
fine.
one scene in that I've shown to so many people. I understand why people don't like it, but I had fun with it. I liked Zombie 3 much more than Zombie 4, and a lot of people told me I'm wrong, which is crazy, because you have a flying zombie head that comes out of a refrigerator, and you're telling me I'm wrong? Get out of here.
Yeah, Zombie 3 is really good.
Zombie 3 is awesome.
I would say that Zombie 3 is definitely better. Well, yeah, I think it's better than Zombie 4.
Yeah.
I've seen Zombie 3 more, to be fair, I guess. But let's see. Although I would say any of the zombie movies, buy them. Come on.
I didn't know we did Shocking Dark Terminator 2 poster. That's awesome. I'm not a huge Emmanuel fan, but I have my favorites after seeing so many. I would say Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals is a really fun release. If you're into that kind of stuff, it's definitely some of the better performances. Violence in a Women's Prison is a thing all of its own, just so you know. It is a beast all on its own. There's more Franco Baby. There he is.
Yeah. Already own that.
I've never seen Eaten Alive, but I hear it's great. David would kill me if I didn't mention Threads being an amazing film. And that's actually my introduction to Stephen Thrower as an entity, was him talking about the cultural impact that this TV movie had on a generation.
Threads. I haven't bought it specifically because I know I'll never watch it again.
It is a definite one-time watch, but during this pandemic, I was definitely curious of putting it back on and seeing kind of how I felt, if I was in the emotional state of mind at that point in time. It's definitely full of incredible context in the bonus features. Devil's Reign, got to get that. Devil's Reign.
Yeah, I did buy Devil's Reign. I put that off for the longest time because I think I read like a negative article in like Fangoria or something back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
and it put me off because I was like, oh, this sound like apparently it's kind of it's not that good. It's just the ending. And then I watched it with my Discord, and I was like, holy fuck, this is a goddamn masterpiece.
It's pretty incredible.
So I finally picked that up this sale because I had to.
John Peters is obsessed with Devil's Honey. I see him posting. He's one of the people who tweets at me a lot, and we have conversations back and forth. So I can't not say Devil's Honey because yes. And then someone here is a Z4 main Lionhawk. Linenhawk. I don't know how to say your name. Sorry, bud. But he's like Jeff Stryker, and there's a pretty great bonus feature on Zombie 4 about Jeff Stryker, who is a porn star turned mainstream actor for a few moments, and he shows off his doll with a posable penis. So yeah, there is something to love for everybody. Yeah,
Devil's Honey is a fucking phenomenal Fulci joint. I love Devil's Honey so much. That was actually one of my earlier. Those are my earlier just like lovey-dovey reviews on my channel.
Beyond the Seventh Door, you passed that one, and Suffer Little Children. I am a huge advocate for shot-on-video films. In general, I love...
That's good. The head is shot on VHS.
I'm gonna love it. Zach Carter, again, I'm going to give him so much love because he is really the... driving force for Indicator. He's always going out there. He brought Frankie and his pals. He is
for Intervision.
He works for Severin, and he kind of like he tried to get Scary Tales at one point in time, which is fucking fantastic. AGFA release. They already bought the rights to that one, so they were doing it. And Vinegar Syndrome and AGFA put out an amazing release. If you do not own Scary Tales, highly recommend for the next sale.
Do have
one of my favorite slipcovers that they've ever done too. It just reminds me of like making films with my brother. When I was a kid, and it just brought back so many great memories, and it's so honest. But any Intervision title, I feel like you're 100% going to enjoy, especially because they're only $10. But Beyond the Seventh Door was an amazing experience, so much so that I brought it to a cabin with my friends on New Year's Eve to watch with them, and they put up a timer because they had such a bad time watching it that they were like, all right, I'm giving it 15 more minutes. I'm like, you just don't get it, man. It's so perfect, and it's genuinely so great. That and Things are very odd releases that should get more love. I think, what was it? Oh shit. Joe Bob just did Things on Last Drive-In, and it got so much love of people who had never heard of it. So like things like that, like seeing that kind of get discovered, and that's the kind of way you want to watch it with friends or with somebody, knowing they're watching it with you. That is a movie that you have to see with others to believe you're actually experiencing it.
Things was actually my first ever Intervision purchase, and vis-a-vis my very first Severin purchase.
Well, shit.
Yeah, before I even knew what like a boutique label was, like that's that far back. I picked it up and was like, this exists. Things is really good. I still don't know what the fuck it's about.
No one does, and that's kind of Things. Bad Boy Lover Boy, surprising. It's a newer film, so it's a lot of people who didn't pick it up because it isn't a newer film or an older film being done. It's something that Douglas Buck, director of Family Portraits, came to David and was like, you should see this movie because it's got Severin written all over it. And it does. It is a modern day sleazy New York slasher, and it's fucking great. And I actually hadn't watched it. I wrote it off for a long time until we were doing a digital deal and I needed to recreate subtitles for it. And so I watched it and retimed the subs and added SDH sound, for deaf people, because I'm very strong on that, because not only am I dyslexic, I'm partially deaf. So I want people to hear and read films as much as possible. So of course, I took the time to watch it, and I was like, this is pretty fucking great. So I was genuinely happy I got to watch that one and had a reason, because that's something I would have normally pushed off because it doesn't sound like my bag, pun intended. But it is 100% a pretty great release, and if it's available.
Yeah, I started watching earlier this week, and of course I had to stop because that's my fucking life. But this is a great price for that release. I think it's
100% one that I recommend if you're like trying to meet a tier of free shipping. Hit that, add that in there, because you'll be glad that you at least got to watch it, because it is so weird. The guy who's in it is majestic. He's definitely in on the joke, but also at the times you can't fully tell. and that's kind of exciting. Like, you can tell he was willing to push the boundaries of what the film should go for, and they really did go for it. Dark Harvest is great.
Yeah. Let's see.
Dark Waters.
I keep
great.
putting off. Oh yeah, I finally saw Dark Waters for the first time a few days ago, and I was shocked at how much because I had heard a lot of people say it was kind of boring. I think Rebecca McKendry had said some really great things, but then otherwise I hadn't heard like the greatest stuff. And then I watched it, I was like, this is fucking amazing. This is like exactly what I want from a Lovecraftian horror movie.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's everything you would want and more. Dreamstalker, again, like I'm saying, I'm not even going to mention Intervision titles, but that one, like, because I recommend you get all of them because they're fucking $10. But Dreamstalker is Freddy Krueger on dirt bikes, like, done for $50, and it's so great. Kathy's Curse is absolutely one of my quintessential you've got to fucking have that movie releases. My wife and I went to a premiere of the 2K. This is before I worked for Severin. Went to the premiere of the 2K remaster of that film, and it was such a great experience. There were like 8 people in the theater. But it was such a great fucking release. The Survivor's a great movie. It feels very unseverin, but at the same time, it's pretty fun. It's just a good movie. Killing of America, I really can't recommend that enough. It just got a really good release somewhere else, but I think that already went out of print. Ours is still in print, and it's the same element that they used on theirs, so I'm like 90% sure they bought our final export. But like, it's just a bleak. It would be a great fucked up double bill with Boys Next Door. Phobe I have not seen, but I
Phobe
know
is very
people
good.
love Phobe. And the
if you like no budget sci-fi schlocky, I think Midwestern.
Yeah, she worked at a
regional
TV station and only worked there so she could have access to their camera on the weekends. And
yeah, it's a beautiful effort of just determination.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Burial Ground is a must-own for anybody, but that's a given. Let's see. I got Dr. Butcher MD this round because I had seen a bunch of things about that. I think also Stephen Thrower mentioned it in his book, Nightmare USA, and so I was like, "Shit, gotta buy that now."
That's what I haven't.
I've spent so much money because of that book.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about books, man. That's the dangerous fucking fact. Is there's so much.
Books are dangerous, kids. Don't read.
Knowledge is power, but it's also dangerous. Like a lot of the earlier catalog stuff, like Roman Polanski's What is a very interesting title because of the lore behind it. It was the first movie Polanski made outside of everything that happened in his life. I don't want to spoil his real life terror, but it was him coping with everything, and watching his brain process on screen is fucking amazing. The movie is a mess, and it kind of shows where he was as a filmmaker. The release is really good. I know a couple people genuinely love it. But it's been a long time since I've seen it. It was one of the earlier films that I saw in a theater when I first moved to LA, and then I saw that we put it out. I was like, "Fuck, we were pretty cool."
That's tempting. Then I might maybe next time since I've already spent so much money.
It's gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah. I feel like Sinful Dwarf. I keep putting off Sinful Dwarf, but I know I need to buy it at some point.
Yeah.
Waiting for that Sinful Dwarf 4K.
4 feet in 4K.
That's marketing. That's what that is. Got Count Dracula, even though I know it's not Franco's best.
Lost Soul, great.
Axe and Kidnapped Coed. I've said this before, are mandatory releases.
100%.
I had a bunch of people. I think All That Is Man is one of the people that told me I needed to watch this release, and I finally did, and I was blown away. Like the titles really don't do the film's justice, which makes sense because they were retitled by the producer who would go on to direct The Streets. What would the newer release? Oh shoot! God damn it! I don't want to go all the way back to the front. Whatever in the Streets, the pink cover one that y'all released. Yeah, Scream in the Streets, or produced it.
Oh,
the
Harry,
producer directed
Harry
it.
Novak? You're talking
Yeah.
about Harry Novak? He didn't. Did he produce those? I thought he. Are they from the?
He
Novak line?
distributed.
Oh,
He didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I fucked up the
House of
explanation
Novak. Yeah, he.
Yeah.
He also did Sinful Dwarf.
Yeah, the director fucking hates him so much, or like so much. He was so like Stephen Thrower talks about it in Nightmare USA, how much Friedrichs is that his name?
Francis Frigel.
Francis Frigel. Yeah, that
makes
something
sense.
That sounds better.
Frigel.
No, I got it. I fucked it up because Frederick R. Friedel. Friedel.
Yeah. Devil Hunter is a huge one that sells for us in conventions. People are always so excited to see Cannibal Terror and Devil Hunter, mainly for Devil Hunter. I've never seen it,
yeah,
but
it
never seemed like something I needed to watch to sell people on. So I just, it's not my kind of thing from the cover of it. Cannibal Terror, just that kind of stuff, doesn't.
Yeah, Turkey Shoot's a classic of Ozzysploitation.
Oh yeah, man.
Let's see. Although I haven't actually bought y'all's release.
Another great Ozploitation, Stone.
Stone is fantastic.
Stone.
Yeah, the Umbrella release. I think I pre-ordered it. I might have put it off. I think I pre-ordered it, but I'm very excited to get that release because goddamn, Stone is great. Let's see. I got Nightmare Castle.
I know you have
this go round,
and She Killed in Ecstasy.
Yeah, obviously on those. Bloody Moon I own. Let's see. I know that I was told I need to get the Video Nasties.
Yeah.
Guides.
Dead Kids is pretty great.
Dead Kids is fantastic. I have the old great DVD of that.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
And same for Thirst, actually.
I've never seen Thirst. Is that who did?
It's pretty good. It's Ozzy.
God, I can't remember. Who
vampire nonsense.
But
Rod Hardy.
Yeah, it's you'll enjoy it if you're that kind of stuff. I've never seen it, but people seem to really like it. I've seen Love Scenes a lot. If you're into that kind of stuff, get in there. I'm a perv.
Let's see. Now we're in like the back depths. Yeah, Hot Nights of Linda, of course. I got that.
And Zulu Dawn. Zulu Dawn. Such a good movie. And that one and Wild Geese and Ashanti, they're very different from Severin as far as like what we are as a brand now, but those are some great fucking movies.
Okay.
I recommend them just as far as like I love movies of all shapes and sizes, from any genre, and I love that Severin took a swing and we're like, yeah, we fucking like these movies, so we're putting them out. We don't care if they're not sleazy, gross, wild shit. They're just fucking good ass movies.
Real quick, Stand in Silence. My Devil's Honey review, I don't believe contains any big spoilers. Like I spoil the opening because it's the opening and it's like the most famous part of the movie. But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty lax. Most of my reviews don't contain many spoilers. I try to keep it pretty chillax there. But then again, I also would say just buy it and watch it because it's fucking great. Okay, so Zulu Dawn, Wild Geese, Ashanti. Those will be in my next time cart, definitely. Since we're already back to an aggressive amount of money.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Please just add these things. Also, like, I don't have your money. I don't want to tell you what to do with it, but I think.
Tell me what to do with my money.
I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but if you don't own Beast in Space, it's out of print. Sorry, that movie is fucking weird.
Isn't there the fuck version of Beast in Space?
Oh yeah, it was included on that DVD. There's a fuck version. Is that
I'm pretty sure you sell that separately.
Do we?
I thought so.
I thought it was this. I thought it was just one release.
Wait, I can do this I can just Beast in Space.
Both. Oh, both out of print.
Son of a bitch,
they're
both sold out.
Version. Wow. Yeah.
Well,
so, who knows? But
I'll just buy it for $300 off of eBay.
Don't do that. Don't do it. You're better than this. If you're gonna spend $300 on something, Spend it on me. I'm worth it.
Actually, that's a great segue. Tell me, so we have just a few more minutes, really.
After our 40-minute cutoff.
So if someone wanted to like get into the mind, into your mind, what's something that of your work that's not Severin related? Because we know all this shit you do for Severin.
Yeah.
What should I go to really get the full experience?
Man, it's so hard.
The Furtado experience.
Most of what I did for a long time was work in development for TV. I worked, and the only people who really saw what I would cut were people who were texting through it, like producers who were like, yeah, that sounds fine, sure, just do that. Like there was no passion in it. So I ended up creating a website a long time ago called Now Streaming, where I did a podcast, and I basically did a Doug Loves Movies for Netflix exclusives, and then Netflix kind of sucked, so I stopped doing it. But that's something I genuinely love, and I think the most Andrew experience that you're going to get is I love a fun time. I love any movie that is genuinely just a fun experience, like any fun experience. Like I've really, this beginning of this year, I did January, where I watched nothing but Jackie Chan movies for 31 days, and I can't express how much of a fun time that was. Like, you'd think I'd get exhausted of Jackie Chan after a while, but no, because he did hit after hit after hit, pun intended. So as far as that goes, I think the most Andrew experience you can get is following me on Letterboxd, where I post what I watch, and I try to write a review most of the time. But that's my favorite thing to do, is be on Letterboxd and watch movies and get recommendations from people and answer questions about movies that I like. And you never know, I could be watching something that could be a future Severin release. You have no idea why I'm watching, because there is no rhyme or reason. Sometimes I just want to watch a fucking movie, and I watch that fucking movie. Sometimes I watch movies for work. You'll never guess. But sometimes I watch movies just because they're recommended to me, and I don't know. There is no Andrew experience other than the podcast. I think that was something I decided I wanted to do. The YouTube channel, growing that out a little bit more, doing Severin Cellar, because I love Criterion Closet so much. I'm like, let's do that. And we do something sleazy and stupid, and doing things like that, kind of creating context and giving people the experience of feeling adventurous and buying something that they might not have thought they would enjoy, and then finding out that they really do like that kind of stuff. That's something that I genuinely, that's what gets me off most about working for Severin, is that I'm able to encourage that kind of adventure into it. Because in LA, one of the main reasons I moved here was because of films, movie theaters and stuff like that, because I'm from a small town in Rhode Island where there was one movie theater and the next one was 40 minutes away. And if it wasn't a Fast and the Furious movie, guess what? It didn't come out in Rhode Island, in Newport. And I moved to LA specifically for film school and to go to movies. And one of the most amazing moments in my life when I found out I was where I was supposed to be was when I went to this place called the New Beverly Cinema and the Cine Family at the time, when it wasn't creepy and all, before I knew any of that stuff. But the community of people who go to these movies and encourage film discovery. Brett Berg from AGFA used to program there. Phil Blankenship were formulated so many great movies and great moments for me as a film fan, going and seeing these Q&As with these incredible people, and finding out, like, I'm not fucking dumb for liking stupid shit. And like, I can't encourage people enough just to embrace your community and embrace the things. And it's not about being, it's for you, it's being critical, because that is kind of what people go to you for. And that's something I respect about you, is you are critical, but you are not critical in a way that is aggressive. You are critical in a way that you're like, here's how we can do better. Here's how we can figure something out. And that's something I genuinely love about you, Michael Keene. As a person, you are someone who does not hold a candle at someone and try to burn them. You were like holding a candle to shed light on something that is there and that can be fixed, changed, bettered, done differently. And there is a whole community of people like Michael Keene and like me and just want to talk about movies. And that's the kind of people I love to surround myself with. So if you are like that, please follow me on Twitter. Let's talk. There are people in the chat who are fucking great and super awesome. All That Is Man, John Peters, like they tweet at me all the time and we have conversations, and it's because they get it. They wear dark jeans. We all wear dark jeans. We just get it, man. And like if I don't know, like you can read my full article on my life in Who Gives a Fuck magazine, but at the same time you can just like be part of something and just be there and hang out and just fucking share and encourage people. Like there are certain Facebook groups that definitely get a little more aggressive and critical and focus on hate, and those are important, to a certain extent as a business to listen to those and see what they're saying and kind of gauge what's important. But also at the same time, for every asshole that's on the internet, there are 10 people who are just like, I just love movies, man. I just want to talk about shit like that. And those are the people who I fucking love. And those are the people who come to conventions. I met a 10-year-old who told me Things was amazing, and that fucking terrified me, but I also got to recommend him Burning Moon. And if you have seen Burning Moon, you understand why that is a weird fucking thing to do. The fact that his mom was like, thank you so much. Like I was like, I can't express how wild that was. And just, I don't know. It was a very fun moment. One year, my wife came to Shuck Movies at the booth with me, and she's like telling people to watch these pornos, and they're like, "I don't want to buy from you. You're a woman." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! Get out of here! You're crazy! Buy this movie, a ding dong!" And like, I don't know. There is something great about seeing people excited online and then seeing them in person. So I'm very excited. Conventions seem to be making their way back, so I'm excited to get back in there. If you ever see Severin at a convention, please, all of us at Severin have a different level of eye contact that we like to share, but all of us are very excited and very passionate about what we do, and a conversation is not far from the fucking realm of possibility. And recommendations, like I was saying with Peanut Butter Solution, Coda did an amazing job at sending out that email and just letting us know that there's more out there. So like, never feel at all like we are too cool for school or too big to talk to anybody, because guess what? We're not. We encourage that kind of shit. That's why I wanted to start the podcast, to open up that conversation and give people a chance to find out more about these films and give people an outlet to learn. And the fact that I read on the internet people saying, holy shit, like fucking somebody just tweeted at me saying that they bought some movies based on the recommendations of the podcast. Thank you, motherfucker. That's what it's for. It's there to encourage that. So yeah, long story short, people like you are cool. People who like this kind of shit are cool, and that's cool. Cool.
You know what? You're cool too.
Fuck you, nerd.
Oh man, I was not expecting nearly 3 hours to be not enough time.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I gotta go see Fast and the Furious in 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil the final thoughts on that one. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. Long story short, I had a blast. If you wanted to have me on again, I'd be more than willing to come on. It's funny that you say 3 hours was not enough, because I just did a podcast yesterday that was 2.5 hours, and they were like, "This is a long one, but it's good." And I was like, "Shit, I talk a lot." I guess maybe COVID made me all backed up on stuff, but yeah, like I love what I do, and I'm genuinely in it for the right reasons. As they say on The Bachelor, I'm here for the right reasons. And as much shit as Severin has gotten at times, I know that most people are being critical because it comes from a place of love and wanting to see us succeed and wanting to see us do better. And that is something that I'm 100% dedicated to. Be it I remember like last year after the Chronic thing happened, I watched videos and I actually reached out to you and I was like, hey dude, I appreciated your videos so much. I would love to talk to you and kind of get an idea of what your issues were now that time has passed, and we can all kind of not laugh at it but look at it and not feel fear. But I took those bits to heart, and I brought them to the office, and we did have a serious conversation. Like, I talked to you and a few other people who whose opinions seemed very level-headed, as far as like not fuck Severin, but also not like, hey, they're still cool. Like, they were very diplomatic, and they made sense. They weren't just speaking from their heart. They were speaking from their brain and understanding things. And that is something. So I never want to tell people to stop being critical and stop being mean, but I also know a lot of what goes wrong. It's tough because like we are a business at the end of the day, and we need things to come out, and we can't sit like Synapse does and announce something and then 5 years later release it. Like, I don't want to do that to fans. I don't want to hold this stuff back, and like there's only certain things, and things like Perdita Durango is a very, very, very special occasion where we were able. I don't know. Did you see Perdita Durango?
Yes, and I have the 4K. Yeah,
the 4K of that is mind blowing and surprisingly a very big learning experience for us, because color correction in 4K HDR is very different than color correction in 720, and something that you would have to do chemically to color correct it back when in the 90s, which he did. He colored it a very saturated way with a very hard orange. That's something that is impossible to do in Rec 720, which is normal Blu-ray color correction. And we were able to finally do that in 4K HDR in Rec 2020, which is amazing. And we were able to do that without crushing blacks, pushing colors, and which is something that's wrong with the previous release from, I don't remember who put it out in Spain, but it was colored so dark and the blacks were crushed, and it's very hard to fully see what's going on because they were trying to match it and they just didn't. It's not that they didn't care, it's that they couldn't do it and they had a deadline to meet, I think. And that was something where we spent 2 years trying to get that done. And we were able to finally do it. And that's actually why we went to 4K with that disc, because we found out 4K is a whole nother world. And that's why I'm so glad we got to do that with Blood for Dracula, because that film, again, is a very odd duck when it comes to color correction, because Udo is supposed to be very pale and everyone else is supposed to be very normal, but there's a style there that Paul Morrissey was going for, and the blood on a lot of previous releases is very brown and very dark, and it doesn't pop as it should, especially considering how white the backgrounds were on a lot of those things. And we were able to push the limits of color correction to kind of get there in that 4K element. That I'm very excited, and I'm so fucking excited for Vinegar Syndrome release of Flesh of Frankenstein. I've never seen it, and I told myself I'm holding the fuck off because they do a great job with 3D and they do a great job with great elements, and we were very fortunate to get those great elements. So from them, who got them from a very great source. So yeah, I can't wait for that release. I'm so happy that that's coming out, and that's something people are excited about. Yeah, like I said, I can continue talking until my movie. But I know you're about to hop on another stream in a couple of minutes. So bless you for doing the Lord's work and talking about this shit.
Yeah. Well, luckily you did most of the talking. I barely, like, my jaw hurts from smiling, but like I'm pretty good as far as like the vocal cords go.
Yeah, but no, we are doing 4K, and we are only doing 4K when we feel it is a release that deserves it, not necessarily because we like 4K is, we want it to be like our slipcovers where it is a very special event. Santa Sangre is an event that movie has a 4K, and it's so there are more 4Ks down the line for sure, and know that we're doing them 4K for a reason, and some things we are not doing. Like I want to slap Criterion in the face sometimes because they're not doing 4K when the 4K Blu-rays exist. And
yeah, we feel that.
Yeah. I want it because I want to buy a 4K from Criterion. I want to buy a Criterion release, but I also want a 4K edition because I know it's going to be a better element. I now, after working with raw elements for so long, I've become a 4K snob because I actually understand the draw to it. And yeah, there are people who are going to get a little more creative in color correction more than they should. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you're getting a raw element that you have more room to play with. And I understand the want to do that. And I understand our reservations to do that for a lot of films. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, sort of thing. But at the same time, Scanner Cop on 4K? Interesting idea. So I'm excited. I have never seen that movie, and the fact that it's on 4K.
I'll controversial opinion. First off, the release is great. That's not controversial. Scanner Cop 2, that's the shit. It's so good.
I'm excited.
Patrick Kilpatrick, it like is next level mugging, and it is amazing. All right. With that, we're gonna end on Vinegar Syndrome talk because that's how this works,
baby.
Yeah, baby. But also I have to.
Yeah, but Vinegar Syndrome.
I also need to go to this other thing, and then I should probably like put some food on my face. With 5 minutes to go, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you, Andrew, for joining me. You're at Andrew Furtado.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
As Pieces would say, it's exactly what you think it is. It's just a wholesome family nickname.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have Andrew on again at some point, I'm very sure. And until next time, y'all, just go watch him.